What a show. The gauntlet schedule is leaking out for the Philadelphia Eagles. Oh, hey, man. Yes, sir. Wow. I'll tell you, it matters, too. Chronological order and what teams you play, who you play, and what respected time of the year, I think does matter. Especially with a young defense. No one's going to debate the Philadelphia Eagle offense. A little bit today we will, but not much. I mean, same personnel back, really, the last couple of years. By the way, as you see, already my man Kyle with Super Chats. They go right to the top. Whatever we're saying, too, automatically goes right to the top. Please hit that like button. Oh, it's Battle Royale today at 4:30. Philly 500 and our friend Mark Holmes from Dallas, Texas. We got him. So when's the recheck? The play guy, Holmes coming on. That will be at 4:30, my friend. So we will have him on. Battle Royale. That will be at 4:30 for all of your viewing pleasure. Thank you. So I love it, man. Hey, by the way, so far we're kind of getting the opening part of the schedule here for the Eagles. Week 1, the Dallas Cowboys. Week 2, the Kansas City Chiefs. Week 3, the Rams. How you doing? We don't know 4 yet. 5, we're looking at the Broncos. 6, we're looking at the Giants. And then in week 8, you're also looking at the Giants. And to finish the season out, you get Washington and in Buffalo. And you have Washington, the final game of the year. How you doing? Hey, I got the Eagles 0-3 right out of the gate. 0-3. Man, you talk about somebody taking a hatchet to all the credibility from February 9th. You'll forget that if that team starts out 0-3. Here, I'll ask you here. Wait a minute here. 0-2? 0-3? 2-1? Or 3-0? What do you got? What do you have? Huh? What do you have? 3-0, 2-1, 1-2, or 0-3? With that 5 holes defense. What do you got going here? I don't have any concerns about. Well, yeah, I do a little bit. That's with the quarterback, as usual. But hey, yeah, because I heard something today that I got to give John McMullen a lot of love on, man. You know, I usually throw some shade on John, but I thought John said something that, you know, I went and double checked. I said, you know, quite frankly, I'd never heard that either about a star quarterback. I had never heard that. And so we'll hit on that here, but the 4 holes defense. Okay? You see Derrick Henry. Oh, wait a minute here. Look at this. Derrick Henry extension. 2 years. $30 million. 25 guaranteed. The largest deal ever for a running back. Well, he's the best running back in the recent generation. Still getting around that. Guy's over 30 years old. He had 1,900 yards rushing. I mean, he's the best back in football. Why wouldn't you pay him the most? Okay? I mean, think about it. Oh, it's the biggest. It's not bigger than Saquon's. It's the largest for a running back over 30. Got it. How you doing? Look at Jason 18. Love you, dude. That's pretty dope. I want to thank you very much for the $50 super chat. Afternoon, Big Sills and JAKIB fan. We got a BTA from the start of the season. We start fast. Eagles will be elite. $50. I have to give it to them all. Do you see any dark horse mid-season trades from the Eagles? I see Huff and and Dotson being traded. Got to give it to my man, Jason. Thank you, brother. That is a way to start this show off with a bang. Thank you, brother. Absolutely. Hey, man. I got to tell you, man. No question about it. This schedule's going to be a gauntlet. Remember what happened with last time you had a gauntlet? You got your faces kicked in. All right? You got your faces beat in because of the gauntlet. And you ain't as deep this time. So, when the schedule drops tonight, we'll see what the fill-ins are. Look, I think you're a good football team. I'm not taking nothing away from it. But I do think the start of the season is not conducive to that defense. Well, Sills, did you have a lot of questions about the defense a year ago? I did, but I got even more now. And by the way, I thought that one of the guests that Birds 365 had on today, I think he said it perfectly. Nowhere in your lineup right now are you replacing anybody that's better than what you lost. Those are facts. You're not replacing anybody with anybody on your roster right now that's better than a player you lost. And you guys keep telling me replaceable. No, you haven't replaced one player yet. You have not replaced one player on that football team. Not one. Hey, by the way, can we put up Kimbo's super, please? Thank you. One on Boomer Show in the AM. Showing love, Sills. Great thing about Philly. Absolutely. We have high sports IQ. Absolutely true. You know our shit living in New York. They have no clue. Absolutely. Hey, they'll bitch about shit and the teams stink. Absolutely true. Philadelphia sports fans are some of the most intelligent people I've ever spoken to. Talking to people in New York, it's like talking to dipshits in Canada. Had to throw that in there. How you doing? Sills, last time we had a gauntlet, I remember those idiots kept saying 10-1. I know. Now you got the 5 holes cheese defense. Had to deal with now. Absolutely, man. Wow. What a gauntlet. It's going to be a tough putt. Say the least. This will be a tough putt. Now, let me throw this at you here. By the way, here we go. We got a new big-time rule here on the Big Sills Show. I'm not getting deviated off of my open for some dumbass's stupid comments, especially after I heard what John McMullen say. I agree with him. I'm not debating people that are idiotic. Idiotic. Super chats, that will be a different case. We're not deviating off of that bullshit anymore. That's not happening. I heard something today from John McMullen, and I happen to agree. I have never heard this in pro football history. Well, Jalen didn't have to be great because they didn't need him to be. I've never in my life ever heard that coined to any player that ever played quarterback in pro football history. Well, you know, we have a great player, but we didn't really need him, especially at the QB spot. I've never heard that. I have never heard, well, Patrick, we didn't really need him, so we just kept him on the sidelines the whole freaking year. I've never heard that. No player that ever has played the quarterback position has ever had that as an excuse on why he didn't play well last year. Well, he didn't have to. Name me one freaking guy who ever took a team to a Super Bowl that didn't have to play great every year. I mean, it's stupid. It's the most asinine thing I've ever heard, actually. And when I heard John say it, I went, it's funny. I've never heard that ever coined to anybody for a 17-game full schedule. Or you hear this. Well, he showed you in the Super Bowl that he could do it anytime he wanted. No, he didn't. That's not how they played the game. It's the stupidest comment of all time. Nobody ever said that. Well, nobody ever confused Troy Aikman for being the best player on the Cowboys. Nobody ever said that Troy Aikman was elite. Nobody ever said that Aikman was a sensational quarterback. Ever. Nobody ever said that. And if you want to compare Trent Dilfer to Jalen Hurts, have at it. I'm in line. Sure. No problem. Okay? No. You know what a stupid-ass comment is? Hey, we don't have to use our quarterback because we didn't need him. How dumb is that? That's the dumbest excuse of all time for a guy who is really good at what he does. Playing around good players. He does. He does a sensational job. Like I said, and by the way, for the record, I'm not the only one. You got people on our own network that talk like me. You got people around the country that talk like this about Jalen. I'm not the only guy. Here, I'll give you for instance. So, Dan Orlovsky, you know who he is? You guys know who Dan Orlovsky is? He's the ESPN dude, right? Right? This is not my stuff. You guys know who Dan Orlovsky is? Okay. Here's Dan Orlovsky's take on pure talent. On pure talent. Arm strength. Patrick Mahomes 1. Josh Allen 2. Justin Herbert 3. Matthew Stafford 4. Aaron Rodgers 5. Baker Mayfield. Dak Prescott. Lamar Jackson. Shit, he's got Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, and Dak on this list. I don't see anybody in Philly. Ball placement. This ain't me. This ain't me. Joe Burrow. Tagovailoa. Mahomes. Stafford. Stroud. Purdy. Geno Smith. Dak. Jared Goff. Josh Allen. I don't hear anybody from Philly. Mechanics. I didn't make this shit up. Joe Burrow. Matthew Stafford. Justin Herbert. C.J. Stroud. Dak Prescott. Jared Goff. Tua. Rodgers. Purdy. And Trevor Lawrence. I don't hear anybody from Philly. Dude, I didn't make this list up. This is not me talking. Decision making with the football. I disagree with this list. I think Hurts belongs on this. Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, Joe Burrow, C.J. Stroud, Brock Purdy, Jordan Love, Patrick Mahomes, Dak, Jared Goff, and Kirk Cousins. You can't make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up. Pocket presence. I'm feeling embarrassed here for the kid. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, C.J. Stroud, Matthew Stafford, Lamar Jackson, Brock Purdy, Jordan Love, Josh Allen, Geno Smith, Dak Prescott. Nobody from Philly. Jesus, surely he's going to make one of these. Here we go. Of course. How could I not know it would be here? This is Dan Orlovsky, guy who's like one of their top guys at ESPN. Rushing ability. Surely he's on this list. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Anthony Richardson is ranked ahead of Jalen Hurts. I don't agree with this. Justin Fields, Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, and Trevor Lawrence. Jesus. Where are you going with this? Second reaction ability. I don't even know what that means. I guess pulling the ball down and looking down the field. Oh, he would never. Oh, he is. Mahomes, 1. Allen, 2. Lamar, 3. Purdy, 4. Jordan Love, 5. Caleb Williams, 6. Dak Prescott, 7. Jalen Hurts, 8. I don't even want to read the rest of these. These are stupid. I didn't make that list up. That's not how I see them. As a matter of fact, I do this. Let me go back to this stupid shit. I'll tell you where I would put him. Look, if I'm not going to give you the impression that I think he's not a good quarterback. That's not what but dude, like John said today, nobody has the excuse, well, they didn't need him. What the hell does that mean? Like arm strength. Dude, seriously, arm strength? I'd put Hurts in the top 7. Ball placement? Is he top 10? I don't think he's not. Mechanics, he's horrible. Decision making, he's top 5. Pocket presence, he's not in the top 10. Rushing ability, I think he's top 3. Second reaction ability, I think he's top 5. Yeah, I disagree with Dan. Shit, I think the guy in Washington is better than half the guys he has on that list. Okay? I mean, look, like I said, I think, sometimes you get a football player that's in the right situation at the right time, like Troy Aikman. Then there's some guys who go into Cincinnati and reinvent the brand of Bengal football and change the face like Allen in Buffalo. I mean, let's do this. Steve the Dog has better takes. I don't agree with all those. I want to show you something here. Let's do something. So Can somebody, hey Kyle, what year did Josh Allen show up in Buffalo? See, this is the issue. You're listening to a garbage player who never made it. Listen to your Hall of Fame friends like Irvin, Boomer, and others who call Hurts elite. Thanks for the super chat. Hey, Kyle, do me a favor. Can you tell me what year Josh Allen showed up when he was in Buffalo? What? He got drafted in 18? All right. Buffalo Bills, year to year. So 2018, is that right, guys? 2018? All right. Well, once again, Gabe, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate the supporting of the channel. Absolutely great. Week 14, Chargers and Eagles, Monday Night Football. So Chargers the 15th. Oh, wait, Chargers the 14th. 16 is Washington. 17 is Buffalo. 18 is Washington. This is just getting better every second. So let me show you something here. Buffalo, year to year. And Allen was drafted when? In 2018? Is that right, guys? Eagles host the Raiders on week 15. There's your first break of the schedule. All right. So 2018 is when he showed up. Here's what they were prior to him showing up. 6-10, 9-7, 7-9, 8-8, 6-10, 6-10, 4-12, 6-10, 4-12, 7-9, 7-9, 7-9, 5-11, 9-7 in 2004. Since his arrival, 10-6, 13-3, 11-6, 13-3, 11-6, 13-4. That's a game-changing, culture-changing, that is a franchise-changing player. He changed your direction. Where in the previous 20 years, you had 4 winning seasons. Let's show you with Joe Burrow on what exactly that means with changing a culture. Hurts has not changed the culture. He walked into a culture like he did in Alabama and also Oklahoma. Good for him. That's the way you do it. Let's see here. Bengals. Let's go down to the Bengals. These are game-changing football players that change the landscape of your football team. When did Burrow get drafted, guys? When did he get drafted? Bengals are a shit show. When did they get drafted? And this is the Bengals. And Burrow wins comeback player of the year a year ago. 9-8, 9-8, 12-4, 10-7. Here's prior to him showing up. 4-11, 2-14, 6-10, 7-9, 6-9. That's who the Cincinnati Bengals were before he showed up. Talk to me about changing a culture. There's football players that get drafted into places and change the entire landscape. So let's put this in perspective here and where you guys are going right now with this schedule. The way I'm looking at it now, and let me take what Xander's saying here, and he's giving me a little bit of where we are here. Okay, so week 1, Cowboys. Week 2, Chiefs. Week 3, Rams. Not yet on 4. 5, reported the Broncos. Week 6, the Gigantes. Week 7, not in. Not yet. We can double check this. There we go. Week 8, the Giants again. Week 9, not in yet. Week 10. Do we have anybody in week 10 yet? Not yet. Oh, wait, Green Bay. At Lambeau. This is fabulous. Week 11, Lions. Week 12. Not yet. Week 13. Not yet. Oh, wait, Chicago. Week 14. The Chargers. So you go Bears, Chargers. Week 15. Raiders. Week 16. Washington. Week 17. Buffalo. And week 18. Washington. So here you go. The only days we don't know yet are the 4th week, 7, 9, and 12. Yep. So here we go. Cowboys, Chiefs, Rams. Start out the month of September. How you doing? Then you got the month of October. Broncos, Gigantes. I'm assuming Minnesota will be in week 4. You watch. I'll put the Vikings in there at 4. Then you have this to finish the year. Starting from week 10 through the rest of the year, here's what you have. You've got Green Bay at Lambeau in week 10. Week 11, you turn around and you play the Lions. How you doing? Then in week 13, you play the Chicago Bears. Then in week 14, you play the Los Angeles Chargers. Then you play in week 15, the Raiders. Then here you go to finish the year. The Washington Commanders in 16, Buffalo in 17, and Washington in 18 for the 5 holes defense. How you doing? Woo! That's going to be something to watch. Let me see here. First month of September. Eagles are 1-2. Let's see here. I picked you to be 2-2 last year, by the way, if you remember correctly. We were spot on. We were spot on. Now, the prediction fell apart after the bye, for sure. But we were spot on with the cheese holes defense that ended up plugging those holes. So let's see. Kyle, give me a prediction, Kyle, because I don't want to see some of these other people in here. I've got kind of like blinders on a little bit here for some folks here. What do you got for me here? Kyle, give it to me here. What do you think? With that schedule you got coming up. In the 5 holes defense. Let me see here. What do you got? What are you looking at here? Hey, your quarterback can't use this one. Well, we don't have to use him this year because, we know he can do it. Yeah. Sounds like you're playing stickball or wiffle ball in your backyard. I don't want to hit home runs because I don't want to lose the wiffle ball. Holy cow. I say this to you. Oh, I got Washington winning the NFC East big time now. Holy cow. 9-8? No. I'm going to say this. Me, personally, right off the top, wow, Kyle, 9-8? Realistically, 11-6. 11-6. Yeah. 11-6. That looks like that. About that. Yeah. I think so. You got too much up. There's too much offensive skilled guys on that side of the ball to sit there and say that. Get this. So wait a minute here. I see people posted. You think you're going freaking 13-4 with the replacement? The defensive should be called the replacements. The Philadelphia defense, the replacements. And not one of them is better than the guy you lost. Not one of them. But you're better. Yeah, all right. Where do you get that from? Who told you they're better? Stills, you don't know that. I know. Get this. I know. 12-5. You don't have, hey, ask yourself, where on your football team did you, and with all the players, your backup guys aren't better than the guys you lost. You don't have a backup player better than Isaiah Rodgers, and you don't have a backup player better than Oren Burks. You don't know that? No shit. No shit. Absolutely true. Got 11-6. I think that's generous. So the difference between what I said with 11-6 and some of you turds with 13 wins is 2 wins. And you're saying that's BS. Dude, between 11 and 13, how do you know? I mean, Jesus criminy. Stop whining. Stop whining and crying about your guys like they're your chicks. You're whiners. You moan and you whine when somebody's critical or telling the truth. You whine. You whine, you moan, you cry, you fight back with these lame ass, well, we didn't need them. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. I've never heard this. Well, I didn't need to use Joe Montana or Tom Brady. You know, we didn't need him for the whole year. He didn't have to. Oh, yeah, okay. How funny is that comment? Never in the history of the NFL have I ever heard that being said about a championship quarterback. Well, we didn't really need him last year, so we didn't really ask him to do anything. Can you get any dumber? Oh, yes, you can. I have them 12-5. Okay, I got them 11-6. So you got one better. All right. Sills, what do you know of the Flyers' new coach, Rick Tocchet? He's one of my best friends. Watch this. Toc. Was he just named? Was he just named the new head coach? All right. Rick. Hey, I do a show in Philly. Do a show in Philly. Congrats. You got to come on. You have to come on. There we go. Congratulations to Rick Tocchet. He's a hell of a guy, and he's one of my dear friends. Absolutely. One of my dear friends. Really glad he got the gig. Former Flyer himself, if I'm not mistaken. I know his name is on the cup with the Penguins, I believe. Sills, how was your mentality, after winning a Super Bowl? Well, it was really great, and it was wonderful after winning a Super Bowl, but then I realized my entire football team got ripped apart on defense. So it was a real love fest for about a night. And then I got hit in the head with a bottle. Oh, wait, I'm talking like I'm Howie. And then I got hit in the head and reality hit. See, that was the reality bottle that hit Howie. Right there at the parade. He got hit in the head with a reality bottle. Oh, yeah, crap, I've got to rip the team apart. That's what that was. That was the bottle of reality. Bang. Bang. No holes defense. Holy cow. Now what you got is you got the no-name defense. Then again, you had that shit a year ago. So, yeah. No, I love that, man. Look at that schedule. What's the toughest game on this schedule? Do you guys understand why the schedule release is important? You know why? Because it's going to test your depth of your team. Now, let's ask this to you. Do you think this team has enough depth on it to overcome injuries? You're the same clown who said the Cowboys could be in a Super Bowl. Thank you, Leon, for the super chat. Appreciate it very much. Thank you, my friend, for supporting the show and the channel. Wonderful take. Wonderful take. At least I have the balls to stand on what I say every day. How you doing? I don't flip-flop and change narratives like you guys did on Hurts. How you doing? How you doing? Look at this here. Secondary is unknown, but everywhere else is pretty deep. He's pretty deep at linebacker with guys who've never played in the league and guys who are still questionable. And a guy who's banged up. Pretty deep. Okay. Dude, guess what? You want to hear this? I'm pretty comfortable with your edge rushers. I don't have a problem with them. My problem's with your linebackers, your safeties, and your corner, and your depth. Dude, you lose Jalen Carter, your freaking season's over. You could survive losing Zach, I think. No, because the secondary's not what it was a year ago. Here's what you can't afford to do. If you lose Lane, Mulata, or Carter for any significant time, your season's over. You don't have the depth. You've got to build depth back up. Now, here's what I will say about the Eagles. Because you've taken 2 steps back, I think you had to take 5 steps back for other teams to catch you. Who? Never heard of them. You may have taken, like I said, 2 steps back. But I think you had to take 5 back for everything to be equal in the NFC. And I just don't think that's the case yet. Okay? Get this. Here's something I want to say, and I'm going to completely hold to this. You had things happen last year that no one had ever seen before, and no one will ever see it again in consecutive years. To assume you're finding Zach Bond again, where no team in the 110 years of the league. Hey, by the way, Vic Fangio's been in the league 50 years. He's got 1 Super Bowl. You really think he's going to duplicate what he did a year ago? Okay. You know, we're not talking about a 4-time Super Bowl defensive coordinator like Spagnuolo. Also, you are 29-64 when you pick against us. Thanks for the super chat. I don't know what that means. I have no idea. You said Hurts is only good because our roster's strong. Correct. Now, if we lose 1 player, season's over. Because you don't have the depth. Your quarterback, again. Dude, once again, I think your quarterback is a fine football player. And I think he is perfect for what they are doing in Philly. I think he could go to Minnesota. I said it yesterday. And I think he'd win a lot of games there. I think he could go to a place like Detroit and win a lot of games. When he's on a ready-made team, he's your guy. If I have to change a culture and build a team, that's not happening. That could be said for a ton of guys in this league. Think Troy Aikman wins a Super Bowl if he's with the Jets? Absolutely not. He's not changing the culture in the New York Jets. Or if he goes to the Carolina Panthers, he was never going to change that. Absolutely never. How you doing? Hey, guess what, bet? Guess what? Bet the field this year against the Philadelphia Eagles. How you doing? It's going to be a lot of fun. Hit that like button. We appreciate it. I'll tell you what's going to be fun is to see if I'm wrong again, which I've never. Last year was my worst year in like 25 years. I won't be wrong again. I won't be. The law of percentages is on my side, not yours. With all the losses. I have the odds, not you. Okay? Now, let's come back to center. If that football team survives the war of attrition, what was the 2 most significant things from 22 and 24? What do you think? Health. Players stepping up. Right? Now, again, if you put and look at the replacements, first-year starter at end, first-year starter at corner, right? If N'Kobe's not in there, first-year starter at linebacker. First-year starter at safety, right? So you guys are under the impression like you have people that are better than what you lost. You don't. The offense. Here, I got a topic here for this. What will be the position that the Eagles could struggle the most at this coming season? Right guard, safety, corner, or linebacker? Which one of those 4 positions do you think the Eagles have a chance of struggling at the most? Here, I want to show you something too. Here, PFF rankings for right guard play and for the Eagles offensive line. Jordan Mailata was the number 1 ranked left tackle in pro football, 95-2. Whatever you think of PFF, Landon was 8th at 78.6. Cam was 14th. I think that's an unfair number. I think he was probably the 3rd or 4th best center in the league last year. Tyler Steen was 75th. Lane was 5th at 88.9. Let's start with the right guard spot. How important do you think Mekhi Becton was to 2,000 yards of rushing by Saquon Barkley in the run game? On a scale of 1 to 10, since the team's right-handed and Lane's over there, how important do you think, we're going to go through the 4 positions here. How important do you think, especially against this schedule in the opening 3 weeks, Rams, Chiefs, and Cowboys, how important do you think it is to maintain that run game against the Cowboy team that I would run the ball on, the Chiefs I would run the ball on, and the Rams I would run the ball on? Those 3 opening weeks, I don't want to see Jalen Hurts throwing the football 25 or north of that number, because I want to see if the Rams have fixed their run defense. I want to see if the Chiefs can withstand that beating that they took at the hands of the Eagles. They did a pretty decent job at stopping the run in that Super Bowl. That's about the only thing that was a silver lining to. Sills, who would have thought we would be a better team after moving on from Kelsey and Cox last year? Nobody. Now remember, those were 14 and 15-year guys. And they had prepared with Cam. I mean, they had drafted him. They even slugged him in at right guard. That's a great take, Kyle. Great take. But look at what you replaced him with. A 2nd-round pick that had been on the team. And a guy who we said that when we drafted looked to me like the next Jerome Brown. You didn't draft the next Jerome Brown. Hell, he might play until the mid part of the season, according to Eagle management. How important is that run game in those first 3 weeks of the season? Let me take a look at something else here with Philly, who the opponents are, who could be in that 4 hole, who I would not want to see in that 4-hole when that schedule is released. Eagle opponents. 2025. Here's who and again, folks, it's more about the schedule and the piling up of great teams. Who wouldn't you want to see coming off of Cowboys, Chiefs, Rams in that 4-hole? Let's see. I wouldn't want to see the Bucs there. I wouldn't want to go Cowboys, Chiefs, Rams, Bucs. Boy, you put the Bucs in week 4 and you got to go to Tampa again for the second straight year. I would not want to see the Bucs in week 4. Absolutely not. I don't believe they would put the Cowboys there. They would wait for that for the late, like week 9 or potentially week 7, where they would go, because you would go Broncos, Giants. Would you go Giants, Cowboys, Giants? No way. They'll go Giants, Cowboys, Packers, Lions. You want to bet that you see the Cowboys in week 9? It'll go Giants, Cowboys, Packers at Lambeau, and Lions. You could do week 12 with Cowboys. Lions, Cowboys, Chargers, or wait, Chicago. Yep. You could go Cowboys in week 12, Chicago, Chargers, Raiders, Washington, Buffalo, Washington. Got some tough-ass games. Any way you slice it up, you're going to need yourself a big-time roster here. Why do we always struggle in Tampa, honestly asking? I think it's Bulls. I think they have the run defensive guys at Vita Vea. And I think that Tristan Wirfs kid is an exception. Hey, I would tell you this, Leon. I would tell you that Wirfs and Mulata, in my opinion, Trent Williams, probably a little bit still, but those are the best 3 left tackles in football. You can flip a coin. Penei Sewell, offensive lineman guy. I just think Todd Bowles, with his disguises, the way he brings pressure internally, he is a him and Brian Flores do such a great job at internal pressure. That hoses any great quarterback. Dude, I'll tell you, great quarterbacks would rather get pressure from the perimeter than they would up front and in their face. And I think that's the key to Brian. I think Brian Flores is an exceptional defensive coordinator. And I think Todd is as well. Don't tell me the Bucs are going to be in week 4 already. Dude, you put the Bucs in week 4, you would have Cowboys, Chiefs, Rams, and Bucs. Aren't all those teams playoff teams except Dallas? You and Mac had us worried about the AFC North 4-0 last season. What's that got to do with anything in 25? Uno Gats. Schedule's what it is. As a fan, I don't see any matchup to us winning. Really? This guy here refuses to address his losses on the team. He just refuses to believe they're lesser players playing defense. I'll tell you what, Prince, we're going to find out who's right in this. If you have lesser players this year, or you have better players, or comparable players. I don't believe it. I do not believe you've replaced one player on defense with an upgrade. And from remotely close to him. I do not believe that. We're going to find out. Anybody who thinks that you're going to replace 4 starters on a number 1 ranked defense and you're going to be a top 5 defense is smoking crack. So again, let's get back to this. Please hit the like button, guys. How big of a loss is the Becton loss when you got to play against, and get this, I think they're going to put the Bucs in week 4. Who else would they, to give them a break maybe? Because that's a pretty tough start to the schedule. You got to play Thursday night and then turn around and play Monday night? We got worse, but not worse than the second best team. That's a great take. That's a great take. Okay? That is. That's not a horrible take, dude. Sills, it was just released and we got Tampa. Look at that. Nostradamus Sills. Buccaneers, week 4. How you doing? Oh, man. So wait a minute. Let me get this right. Here's your first 5 weeks of the NFL season. Cowboys, Chiefs, Rams, Bucks, and Broncos. All playoff teams except the Cowboys. Woo! Oh, man. In Tampa. Holy cow. Wait, do you have to go to L.A.? Now, the Rams are at home, aren't they? Yes. Good. So how many away games do you play? KC's away. Bucks are away. So you get Cowboys home, Rams home. I believe you get the Broncos home. So you get 3 at home, 2 on the road. Ooh-wee! Look at that. For the 5 holes defense. Cowboys, Chiefs, Rams, Bucks, Broncos, Giants in week 6. Week 7, who would I put in week 7? Sunday Night Football, week 11 versus the Lions. Wow! Dude, that's great. 7 primetime games. That's great. Hey, Leon, one thing is really cool. The NFL feels that you guys, I got to say this to you too. So I see the guys at WIP crying about the Cowboys getting a primetime game. Stop having stop having a complex issue about who you are. That's great to kick the piss out of the Cowboys will be the easiest opponent you play. I mean, it's John Ritchie's crying about how in the world do the Cowboys get to play in such a meaningful game? Who cares? They're the Dallas Cowboys. And if the nation gets to see the Eagles tear them apart on national television, and you drop the banner in Jerry's face, his last year running the team, would be the greatest thing I could ever think of. Can I tell you what this is? This is like a gladiator when he's in the middle of the Roman Colosseum, and I get to kill somebody that's got his hands tied up in front of 55,000 people, and the gladiator gets to take the head of the snake off as a reward for being the baddest dude on the planet. That's a reward. That's a sacrificial lamb. That's a sacrificial lamb. The rest of those teams are playoff teams. Broncos, Chiefs, Rams, Bucks. I mean, Stop acting stupid. I want to have the most eyeballs on me the opening night Thursday when I drop my second banner in the Super Bowl era for championships in Philadelphia in front of the fraudulent Cowboys. And I want the nation to see me clean their clocks. So the only thing missing is throwing snowballs or taking out the Cowboy players. KC won't be demolished again. You're not the same team, and nor are they. Stu, stop thinking they are the same football teams that played February 9th. They are not. They are completely different football teams. Coordinators, players. It doesn't matter what happened February 9th. Now, if everybody had rolled back the same dudes, Kellen was coordinator, you kept all your guys, then it matters. But when you have different people getting on an airplane and you've got different players grabbing a seat, it's not the same team. It's not the same team. It has no relevance to February 9th. The coordinator's even different offensively. It'll matter to Andy. It'll matter to Mahomes. Okay? It will matter. Absolutely, it will matter. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. I appreciate it. Guys are great. We're going to have the Battle Royale. That will be at 4:30 Eastern Time. See here. It's funny how the Patriots never repeated with the same team. But for us, we have to repeat with the same team. Okay, you don't have Tom Brady, kid. And Belichick never dissembled his defensive football team. Are you under the impression that Nick Sirianni's Bill Belichick and that are you under the impression that Tom Brady and Jalen Hurts are in the same room? Are you really? Are you really under the impression? What a dumb take. Oh, I see. We can't repeat, but the Patriots did. Are you under the impression that you have the same team or the same structure that the Patriots had that won 6 Super Bowls? Wake me up when that happens. Gotta be kidding me. Now they're comparing Jalen Hurts to Tom Brady. Wow. Are you drinking the Kool-Aid? Jim Jones would love you, Prince. Jim Jones would love you and M. Reyes. Hey, here's some Kool-Aid. Drink it. You guys would drink it in gallons. You can't make this shit up. I mean, you can't make this up. I am in no, I said you're, some of you go, we got 13 wins. So you're full of shit. I got you 11 wins, so 2 more. Congratulations. What are you moaning about? These guys would drink the Kool-Aid, man, no matter what it says. We're better than we were last year. That's what you think. Keep thinking that. So let me ask you this. Again, how important is that right guard position playing against Cowboys, Chiefs, Rams, and Bucks? heading into the first 4 weeks of the season. Oh, by the way, I got the Broncos as the number one defense in the league this year. Okay? So the first 5 weeks, you're playing Spags, you're playing the Rams. Probably gave you the best game of any postseason team this past year. Bucks at 4, Broncos at 5. I got them number 1. Now, you tell me, how important is it that right guard spot now and who you have to replace him with? Do you think it's important on a scale of 1 to 10? How important is that position heading into first month of the season? Month and a half, really. How important? Eight, 2, 1. So some of you don't think it's a big deal that you lost Mekhi Becton. Me? I put it at a my concern level being a DEFCON 5. 5. So let me ask you this. Do you guys think you'll be a better running attack without Becton? Do you? Do you believe you'll be a better running attack without Becton? Stout improved Becton. He sure didn't improve Tyler Steen. So here, Joseph says you'll be a better running attack without Becton. RC3 says you'll be a better running attack without Becton. Okay? Same. Okay. You know, I'm gonna lower that. About a 4, 10 being the highest concern. I'm about a 4 on that. I think they'll get a guy in there that you're not going to be the same running team. But I don't think it's going to be that catastrophic where you're not going to be one of the top 3 rushing attacks in football. Like, I don't think it knocks you out of that. Okay? It will matter. But not significantly enough where you're like, man, boy, Barkley's having a shitty year. You know, if you lost your 2 tackles, that would, or one of those tackles, Mulata and Lane, then I'd be concerned. But a right guard, probably on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 the highest, probably a 4 that I would have concern over. So I think it's doable. There'll still be a top 3 running attack without really a lot of change. I still think there'll be a really good running team. Even with the loss of Becton. Get this. Trevor Keegan will not replace Mekhi Becton. He barely played last year. Okay, well, that's a downgrade. That's a downgrade. Safety. On a scale of 1 to 10. By the way, we're asking this question. What position do you think the Eagles, in your opinion, have the highest chance to struggle at? I've got guard, safety, corner, linebacker. We're on safety now. Highest level of concern, 10 being the highest for safety. Gardner Johnson, he patrolled back there at this position. Safety, 10 the highest. What would be your level of concern? So for the guard position, I think the consensus was about a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. I think you'll dip a little, but not significantly enough where you're not going to be considered one of the top 3 dominant running attacks. Okay, look at this. A thinks Tristan McCullum or the rookie is going to replace Gardner Johnson. I'd say the level of concern at safety for me is probably about a 7. CJ. Why? He's a tone setter. He's a turnover machine. He gets beat, but he was ranked, according to PFF, if you love that, one of the top safeties. Seals, the toughest person to replace a Slade. We have to replace a Pro Bowl corner. Well, wait a minute. You're gonna understand where I'm at here. And by the way, the guys that are going to defend that they have the replacements to replace the losses. And the argument I hear is you really weigh into a lot what Josh Sweat and what Milton brought to the team. No, I weigh a lot that they brought the number 1 defense to Philadelphia for the first time since the early 90s. And they were part of that unit. A unit makes the number 1 defense, not individual players. You can have the best player. Look at the New York Giants. They got the best interior defensive tackle. Did it matter? No. Shit, they traded for Brian Burns, one of the best ends. Did it matter? No. They drafted Kayvon Thibodeau in the top 10. Did it matter? No. You can have great players like Jalen Carter and not have it mean anything. And if you think that the players that you have on the team are going to limit the double teams on Jalen Carter, it's wishful thinking. Last season, this defense had 6 starters. And by the way, all of those players that replaced and were put on the football team had been on the team previous, except for Braun. Every one of them had been on the team at least a year and had played significant time, like Milton. Who else? Jacoby had started. Gardner Johnson was on a Super Bowl, and Gardner Johnson has been to 2 NFC championship games and won a Super Bowl in the last 3 years, actually. You don't think there's any coincidence in what you lose with Gardner Johnson that he's been to 3 NFC titles. He's been to 2 Super Bowls and 3 conference championship games in a row. You don't think anything like that matters with the experience that you're losing there, and he's 28. Really? And you think you're going to replace him with a kid from Texas? Okay. So my level of concern is about, maybe that's too high, 7. I'll go 6. So right guard for me is about a 5. Safety's about a 6. Let's go to corner. Well, I'll just tell you flat out of the gate. My concern at corner in replacing him is a 9. You don't have anybody on the roster that can replace him. There's nobody on that roster right now you have that will replace Darius Slay. Nobody. 0. By the way, I haven't even brought in and talked about Milton Williams or Josh Sweat. They're not on my level of concern. And that will be a concern. But they're not even on. My level of concern is right guard, safety, corner, and linebacker. So my level of concern with cornerback is 9. You're going to struggle in the 2 positions the most, in my opinion, at safety and corner. Too high safety, and corner. I don't think you're going to struggle at edge. I think you'll be suffice with the Jomo and that kid Robinson you drafted. It won't be Milton, and it won't be Josh as a combined group. Get this. Eagle fans refuse to do this as well. You want to downplay Milton and you want to downplay Josh, and you want to try to tell me that a rookie from Nebraska and Moro Ajomo, who can't play the run, is going to take on more double teams and attract more double teams than Sweat and Milton Williams did? Where are you getting that from? Or is that just like something that you're wishful thinking? I'm going to double Jalen Carter more because I don't think those other guys can make plays. My number one attack will be at Carter until someone can prove, like Jordan Davis. Hey, you know how you're going to find out if Jordan Davis deserves an extension? This year. Because he's got less experience on the D line. By the way, that's not an opinion. Says you just wanted Slade cut a year ago. Now you're glazing. You're a funny guy. I wanted Slade traded because he was banged up. I'm not saying, hold on here, dude. I'm not saying it wasn't time to move on from him. But the replacements you have right now are nowhere. You don't have a plan at corner. What's your plan at corner? Keely Ringo? That's not a plan. Replay Cox and Reddick. You said that wasn't possible. You didn't replace Reddick. You never replaced Reddick. Who replaced him? Who gave you 11.5 sacks and the guy had a down year? Dude, every year he was in Philly, he had double-digit sacks and was an impact pass rusher. Ringo will be fine. This guy's high. That is the living in denial. That guy's going to give you Pro Bowl level corner play. It's living in denial. That's living in denial. I'm not talking about a river in Egypt. By the way, I didn't put edge rusher on this list. I don't even have edge as a concern. You won a Super Bowl without a high-profile edge. Not a concern. I didn't name one. Oh, get this. Here's a new one. This guy says you just need a functional corner. When you play CeeDee Lamb, you play Mahomes, you play the Rams, and the Bucks who own you, and Mike Evans and them guys. You need a functional dude. Bro, they're going to go right at that kid. So here are the quarterbacks. Dak, who's got a 9-4 record versus you. Mahomes, you got Dak, Mahomes, Stafford, and Mayfield, and Knicks in the first 5 weeks of the season. The guy from Nebraska, the guy taken in the third round, was it? Just like you called Cooper a guy from Iowa last year. I think you're the one high. Sure, okay. Thanks for the super, dude. I think I missed Anthony's super chat. By the way, supers go to the top. You guys know that. I may have missed Anthony's. Anthony, if I did, just repost it. You don't have to throw it back up there. Hi, my name is Sills, and I've been wrong. Whatever, guy. I won't be wrong this year. 1,000% will not be wrong. Remind me who had picks in the whatever, guy. Hey, M. Reyes, just curious. Where did you get better? What replacement do you think was better than the guy you lost? I'm just curious. What guy do you think is better? Who's better? Who's better? Name me one place that you got better at on defense. That's silence. That's silence. That's silence. You didn't get better at edge. You didn't get better at edge. You got the same dudes. You didn't get better at edge. What, your trash cans you signed? Come on now. How you doing? Like this, if you think JAKIB should drug test Sills, hey, Leon, I don't take drugs. Okay? You imagine me on drugs? You know what I take? The Big Sills bong. I smoke the Big Sills hookah. You know what I dip in it? Smoking that reality. How you doing? Hold on. A little more reality. Sills is smoking that reality. Holy cow. Grew it in my backyard next to my tomato plants. How you doing? Hey, what? Hey, M. Reyes. I'm still waiting here, man. Hurry up. I gotta take an M. Reyes here. Help me out here. Where'd you get better, dude? Where'd you get better with your replacements? Can you help me out? Nolan Smith is better than who? Nolan Smith's better than Josh Sweat? Oh, man, this is great. What an absolutely fabulous day. Sills, how he pulled the trigger on Simmons for safety would reduce the risk with Ringo. Absolutely a great take. Absolutely great. Bob, will you tell these people how much of an influence that Gardner Johnson had on the cornerback play between Reed and CJ, on how much impact that the middle of the zone had, because those guys were maybe one of the best tandems in the league a year ago at safety, and how much that shrinks the corner in the numbers. When you've got safety play and these guys are playing good, what happens? Vic could either play them up more or deeper or wider, depending on who the wideouts are. Do you guys know anything about how great safety play impacts corners? More so than corners impact the safety play. The middle of the field is what Vic Fangio was 1,000% adamant with on trying to keep intact. Bond, middle of the field, 2 tackles, the inside linebackers. When you have that 2 high safety guys that can play vertically and also horizontally the way they did a year ago, you shrink, you also help the corner play, and you help the zone in the middle of the field and covering tight ends and backs out of the field. That's the essence of 2 high safety. The reason the Eagles were better in 24 than they were in 22, you got better safety play. I'm probably over your heads. So I know I'm probably speaking way over your heads here with this. Completely over your heads. Especially a dude like this. He would never get it. He would never understand that. Why would he? I don't care what he said. I don't really read it anymore. Okay? Still, safety play allows the corners to take risk. That's right, because they're not going to get beat in plus 25. Because you got those two-eye safety guys behind there playing the security blanket. Absolutely true. Quarterbacks know that. What's the first read in a two-eye safety? There's two guys. You're reading the nickel guy and you're reading the free. Again, this is over your heads, especially a guy like Prince. Completely over your heads. You have no idea what I'm talking about. And a guy like him, how would they know? They wouldn't know. Okay? All they know is they see a guy on the roster, they assume he can play that. Okay? I mean, get this. Sills doesn't understand the potential of the room. Potential means you haven't done it. Potential means every time I hear the word potential, that means you haven't done it. Nobody goes like this. Kyle Hamilton's got great potential. Jalen Carter's got great potential. Jordan Mailata's got great potential. Ty Robinson has great potential. What does that all mean? They haven't done it. Get this. See this Dumbo? This guy's name is Dumbo. He blew plays last year. He was second in the league in turnovers on the number one ranked pass defense in pro football. How did he suck? How did anybody on that group last year suck? Guys here or not here? Okay? See here. Why didn't Gardner Johnson go to the Pro Bowl? Well, how many defensive players did you have go to the Pro Bowl? Let's take a look at that. What Eagle players went to the Pro Bowl a year ago from defense? 2024 Pro Bowl selections. Eagles on the number one defense in football. Let's see. Bond, Carter, Bond and Carter. How come you didn't have any more? What'd you have? Some second team? Let's see. First team guys, initially in out, Bond, Carter. Okay. His first Pro Bowl selection. I'm looking at the Eagle alternates. Q was an alternate. Sweat was an alternate. Cooper was a fourth alternate. You don't go to the Pro Bowl being an alternate here unless you get those were your alternates. How come you didn't have more on the number one ranked defense? Shit, I don't even see Slay's name on here. Yeah, I don't see Slay's name on any of this. Huh. So you had two guys named, Bond and Carter. How come you didn't have more? You're number one defense in the league. Prince, all jokes aside, I would have been concerned if we had the same, if we still had the same coaches we had in 23. I felt we lacked the necessary coaching staff, but now we have it, and that's the difference. It's true. Prince, you're right here with this. I think they got to. Princeton, would you not agree that this is going to be a tougher coaching year for the defensive coaches than it was a year ago? Would we at least come to a middle on this? Would we? Could we at least come to the middle that this year, Clint Hurt, Bobby King, secondary coach, and these guys, they're going to have quite a job ahead of them. Right? Hey, M. Reyes, how could somebody own me that comes here every day? I don't go to people's homes. This is my home. You come to my home every day. How could someone own me? I don't go anywhere. I don't do any other shows. I don't log on to any other shows. How could somebody own me? It's like people that go on my Twitter and go, Sileo, you're just a scumbag. Thanks for posting on my Twitter. Okay. M. Reyes is posting in my show that someone owns me that comes here to watch my show every day. And they own me. Like, how's that possible? I don't do any other shows. I don't go anywhere else. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Remember something. You wipe your feet on my carpet that says, welcome to Big Sil's house. When you walk in here, how you doing? Clean your feet. And by the way, I'm Reyes. Take your shoes off before you come into Big Sil's house. Or just like that scene says, be dragging his ass out in a bucket. You're in my house now, fatso. Let's take a look at this before I get Big Z on here. Holy shit. Let me see if that's Phil Simms. Hang on for a minute. I'm trying to save Phil for tomorrow. Yeah, I'm trying to save Phil for tomorrow. All right. So let's take a look at this. This is wonderful. This is a great schedule. Cowboys. Yes, I own you, Sills. I'm a shareholder. Yes, you are. Anybody in here is like the Green Bay Packer people who have a share of stock in Big Sills. Yes, sir. Prince, that's the best freaking take I've ever seen in my life about this show. Prince is a shareholder in Big Sills' ass. He does own me. Wait a minute. You're right. You guys do own the show. I never thought of it that way. Sills, we own a piece of your ass here, you know. We're here every day investing in you. You better deliver, kid. All right, I relent. Holy shit. Oh, man. I'm getting sick of you guys, actually, already. All right? All right. So let's bring this up. Before we bring Xander up. Cowboys. Yeah. National TV. You get to take a team out to slaughter. Sure. You see John Ritchie. Oh, what? Cowboys? Shut up. You got an identity crisis? You want to kick the shit out of the most exposed and overhyped team in sports history. Hey, this is what I feel like Eagles playing the Cowboys. Watch this. You know what I'm doing? I'm wiping the dog crap off my shoe that my dog took a crap in the lawn yesterday. That's what the Cowboys are. Mark Holmes, you're going to get killed. Chiefs. In KC. Rams. Buccaneers. I picked it. There's another prediction. Big Sills is starting 25 off. I said you get the Bucs in week 4. How you doing? Then you get that Bronco team in week 5. And then the Gigantes in week 6. So far, we don't really know. 7, 12. I think they're going to put that Cowboy team down there either before that Green Bay game in week 9 or they're in that week 12 spot. Because then you go Cowboys, Chicago, Chargers, Raiders, Washington, Buffalo, Washington. Hey. All right, without further ado, I heard the greatest line in the history of lines today by Johnny Mac. Johnny, Johnny boy, I salute you. Have you ever in your life ever heard anyone say this? You know, like Patrick Mahomes, we didn't need him for 17 weeks, so we kept him in the barn and we didn't really give a shit about it. But when we needed him, we pulled him out. I'm not sure I've ever heard that about any other quarterback in pro football history. Only in Philly, baby. All right. Thank you, John. Great content today, buddy. All right. Without further ado, boy, he got killed on that Hurts topic, though. Do you know how hard I was laughing at Xander? Because Xander kept trying to kick his ass on it. Wait a minute, John. You got to give resume something. I'm sitting here going like this. I have popcorn going like this. Without further ado, let's bring in our guy, Big Z, Xander Kraus.
What's up, Big Shows?
Boy, man, that was some fiery show you guys had this morning, man.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
By the way, I got week 7, week 9, and week 12.
Oh, look. Okay, who's week 7?
Week 7, they're at the Vikings.
Okay.
Week 9, you got a bye week.
Oh,
week
bye.
12,
Okay.
Week 12 at the Cowboys. And that rounds up the entire schedule. So we don't even need to do a stream tonight. We already got the damn whole schedule. I mean, what the heck? But,
so,
dude, this is a gauntlet.
Am I right with this? So Cowboys to open the season. Chiefs are second away. The Rams are third. Bucks are fourth. Broncos are fifth. Giants are sixth. Vikings are seventh. Giants again, 8. Bye in week 9.
Yep, which is good, by the way.
I think I like that.
Yeah, that's right. Too. Smack in the middle. I'm good with that.
Green Bay at Lambeau, week 10. Then they turn around and play the Lions, another team from the NFC North, in 11. Yeah,
that's at home.
They got the Cowboys in week 12.
See, that's tough right there. After the bye, you go to Green Bay, come home for Detroit, then you go back to Dallas. You come home for the Bears. You go out to L.A., come home for the Raiders, and then you're home for the rest of the way.
I bet you they stay out west.
No, because Raiders are at home.
Raiders are at home. Wow. So they've got to fly back from Los Angeles. And then you got Washington. So here, am I right? When I say Cowboys, Chicago, Chargers, Raiders, Washington, week 17, Buffalo. And then to finish up the season, they got Washington.
Yep.
What do you take away? What's your takeaways?
This is a hard-ass schedule, man. This is life as a Super Bowl champion. I mean, look, I'm not saying that they're not going to be a great team, but you know, the one thing I'll say about this is hard schedules can weigh on a team differently, and I think you saw that in 23, where you know the team beat every good team, right? You beat the Chiefs, you beat the Bills, you beat Dallas, you beat everybody in that gauntlet, and then you collapsed after in the easiest games. Now, I'm not saying it's all because of that, but it's a different approach when you're playing this good of talent all throughout the year. You know, I saw somebody tweet, you start tough and you end a little easier. And I'm sorry, but I don't really see that. I mean, you got Washington twice. You got the Bills. Now, I know the Chargers, I don't think they're as good as us, but I think they're going to be a tough out with Herbert and that defense this year. The Raiders are a little bit improved. That's probably an easier win there. The Bears, you know, I like them in terms of the NFC North, but I still think they should win that. Cowboys. So I guess a little bit after week 11 with the Lions. I think the Lions are going to come back to earth a little bit this year. I don't know. I haven't done my win-loss yet, but if I'm just ballparking, it looks like I'm going to be around 12 wins.
Okay, I got 11.
Yeah, 11 I think is fair.
Here. Do you not agree that if you're looking at anything where you get a tad bit of, and I don't like doing this now because I don't know what the teams are going to do. You're just looking at roster right now. Giants, Vikings, Giants. To me, that kind of looks a little bit, 2 of those 3 games where you kind of can maybe get a breath.
Yeah.
Because then you get the bye also in that 9. and you get a chance to gather yourself there for 4 weeks. That's like a month of football. You get to gather yourselves before you have to travel to Lambeau. And by the way, think about something here that you're looking at that people don't bring up enough. You see this Green Bay and Lions game back to back? You may determine the NFC North by who you beat or who you not beat. And that could be home field advantage depending on how well one of those two. Let's put it this way. Green Bay and the Lions aren't going to both suck.
No, I don't think the Green Bay is going to be great this year, but I think the Lions will still be good. I just worry about, I mean, I'm not worried, but we'll see what happens with 2 new coordinators for them. I mean, something's going to change there. I don't know. Maybe it's not as big as I'm thinking. That would be a big credit to Dan Campbell, but that's going to be a tough thing to keep on the rails after two departures of 2 good coordinators, not any coordinators. I mean, Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson were, 2 of the top coordinators in their spot last year in the league. So that's big losses, but yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at this schedule. This is tough for sure. I mean, and I still feel good about winning a lot of the games, but I do wonder, you got to play a little differently. You got to pace yourself a little differently. Remember 23, we beat all the good teams, lost all the bad teams. So how do you handle that part of it? But I don't know. Maybe I have more than 12.
How about this? You giving the ball to Saquon 410 times with that roster of games you're playing?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean, he's got to be built for it. I'm not going to sit here and treat him like he's a 1960s sports car. You're getting driven. I'm putting miles on you. Look at Derrick Henry, just got a massive deal at 31 years old. Why? Because they don't give him the ball or because he takes care of his body? Now, he's a different beast, but I think Saquon's in that category as well.
He's been more consistent than Saquon over his career.
Did you see the stat that came out? The most 100-yard game since 2020. He has 37 out of like 72 games he's played, so it's well over half. Wow. Saquon was like 17 out of 67 or something like that.
That's the Giants BS.
That's the Giants. I know, but I'm just saying it shows you how good Derrick Henry's been for so long. So no, I'm not putting Saquon on the bench. Let's go, man.
Okay.
We built our offense around. Yeah, I mean, let's go.
You're not wrong. I'm just saying that.
Yeah. I don't think
somebody put up 300. Hoss, let me tell you something, Zach. You give Saquon Barkley 300 carries, you're going to lose a ton of ball games. That guy's got to – he's got to be north of 350.
Jay Brown says, I love how everyone's sleeping on A.J. Dillon. The problem with him, Jay Brown, is he's coming off a couple stingers, man. So, I hear you, but he's healthy right now. You got to read his story, Jay Brown, on kind of how it happened. So that's an interesting one. If he's healthy, I do think he could take a little bit of the burden off.
I think he's an exceptional player.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
He's not in Green Bay because he's not exceptional. He's in there. He's not in Green Bay because they can't keep waiting on his stingers. See, again, like I said about him and how important it is for him that you could come up 1 week, Xander, and he could help your team with 120 rushing. Next week in practice, all of a sudden, they deactivate him because his thing acted up. Right. That's what that injury is. It's nothing. Dude, nobody's talking about that guy not being a good ball player. So I put a topic out here, and I'm going to ask you about it. What will be the positions that the Eagles with this, especially this, let's go the first month of the season. Let's go to the Broncos. Cowboys, Chiefs, Rams, Bucks, and Broncos. You're taking on Dak, Mahomes, Stafford, Mayfield, who's had great success versus you guys. By the way, Supers will be read.
There's no doubt. Bucks have our number right now until proven otherwise. There's no doubt.
I think the Broncos have an exceptional defense. So, how important?
I don't like the Bucks in Tampa stills in September again. Remember last year how humid it was? Now, that was coming off a hurricane, so maybe that tilted the scales a little bit, but that's a tough place to play in September, dude.
Especially coming off the Rams game.
Yeah, well, that's true. And are you home versus LA? Yeah, you're home versus LA.
Yeah.
So you got to go home versus Dallas, out to Arrowhead, home for the Rams, down to Tampa, home for Denver. Then you're in New York, so that's easy. So you'll have a little bit. And then you're in Minnesota, back home to play the Giants, then the bye week. That's not too bad for travel.
No.
You're going back and forth a little bit, but that's not awful.
No. Here's the thing with the Vikings, too. you're either going to get a really bad Vikings team or you're going to really get a really good Vikings team.
Well,
I don't think they're going to be in the middle. I don't know if they get any kind of quarterback play. Okay, they're going to be a tough team too, especially up there in Minnesota.
I don't know. I kind of don't agree that they're going to be they won't be a middle team. I could see them being a middle team because their roster's so good, but what do they have at quarterback?
Well,
like that defense is going to be pretty good. If they don't get injured, that's going to be a good defense.
Well, again, like I said, yeah, but what do you mean if you don't have everybody can move the sticks and get the ball to Justin Jefferson or Addison? So let me ask you this here. So the right guard position with Becton, and here, look at this. Cowboys, I'm going to run the ball a ton. Chiefs, we know this. The number one thing that Steve Spagnuolo did, if there was any silver lining in that Super Bowl, what was it? They stopped Barkley. Okay, do you want to run the ball a ton here? They're going to be more prepared. You can guarantee you this for Hurts. This time around, Spagnuolo's not going to just go, oh, no, we're going to do the same game plan again. That's not going to work. I think they're going to bring more pressure this time in that game. The Rams game. The Rams, would you not agree the Rams played you better than any other team in the postseason?
Yeah, definitely. The Rams are tough, man. We played terrible versus the Packers. It wasn't our best game as a team, but the Packers sucked in that game. Jordan Love was so bad in that game.
He was terrible.
He was awful in that game. Yeah, he's made me question how good.
I don't really think he was great in the opener in Brazil.
He wasn't. Jordan Love was not good last year. He had like 3,200 passing yards.
And then, like you said, you've got the Bucs, and then you've got a continually improving Broncos team, which it's great that they're coming up.
Are you playing it's a win, it's a loss today or tomorrow?
No. I want to see I want to see it officially put out. Yeah. And I'll do that stuff tomorrow. And again,
here's just from my first glimpse here. I don't see any crazy like Thursday, like Sunday, Thursday,
Well, don't you have to go Cowboys Thursday and then Monday night Chiefs?
Sunday night Chiefs. Sunday not the night game. It's 4:25. But that's not bad. That's a 10-day break.
It is. Okay.
So that's good. And then you have, I don't know when the Rams time is or what night or what day that is.
That will tell us more tonight.
Tampa Bay is a Sunday game, I'm pretty sure. Giants are a Thursday game after week 5, and then you go Sunday, so that's 10 days. Then you're Sunday to Sunday. Then you have a bye. Then you're Monday to Sunday, 10 to 11. Green Bay's a Monday night game. Cowboys Sunday to Sunday. And then you have Sunday to Friday, which isn't too bad, the Black Friday. And then you don't play for another week and a half because you got the Monday night game versus the Chargers. Then you have Sunday. See, that's pretty good. And then you have Sunday or Saturday, so 6 days there. So you have Monday, Sunday, and Saturday, 6 and 6 and 6. But then you have Sunday and Sunday. So that's not crazy at all.
Here's what my concern is. If you're looking at the schedule here, look at what they put at the back end of this. They put Cowboys, they put Chicago, they put the Chargers. Raiders are not a nothing comment in here. Then you got Washington, you've got Buffalo, and you got Washington again. I think at least 2 of those games can be flexed to Sunday night.
Yeah, I could see that. I could
especially see that Buffalo.
I don't know, though. Isn't there a limit on how many primetime games we can have? We're already at the limit. We have 6.
They can't flex more.
No, I don't think. I think the most anyone's ever had was 7, and it was I think the Cowboys in a flex. So maybe you could get 1 more, but I don't think they're going to give us more than 7 primetime games, dude.
I don't know that rule. I mean, I didn't know that they can't have 6 primetime games. Let more than. Are you sure?
It is the max? Is that what it is? That's a heavy max.
See, I thought that was on the initial release of the schedule. You can't have more than 6, and then after November,
maybe that's it.
That you can add the back end of it.
Javon says, I thought it was 7, so maybe.
Okay.
And Howard says 8, so maybe it's 7 with the max 8. I'm not sure. You can have 8. All right, so maybe I'm wrong. Yeah.
Because
initial is 6. There you go. So you're right. Initial is 6, 2 is flexed. Okay, so you're right.
See, because they leave it open in the back end of that for Sunday night football because, they used to do it for Monday night football, but because they don't really look at Monday night, Sunday night is like the game of the week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
now
Thursday night and Mondays are still viewed as primetime.
What's that?
They changed it to 8, dude. That's crazy. Eagles are going to have 8 primetime games this year. Book it.
Oh, absolutely. There's no way they're not going to be not.
Man. They're look.
And that makes a scheduling issue.
Enjoy this, Philly, because this is what it means to be the hunted instead of hunting. All right. We got the hard schedule. We're going to have all the primetime games, which means the boys aren't going to be getting all their sleep. You saw A.J. Brown put out his thing last night. Normally I'm asleep by 8 p.m. All right. This is what it means to be the top dog, baby.
Holy cow, man.
There's one thing I'm ecstatic about, and this is a total personal thing. We don't got to play on Christmas. Thank God. Thank God, man.
I thought for sure they would play.
Me too. I thought for sure, man.
Okay. But they're playing Black Friday, right?
Yeah, Black Friday.
Okay,
that's the day after Thanksgiving. That's
Turkey Day. Hey, they're not playing Turkey Day at least either.
They're not playing Turkey Day and not playing Christmas. So Christmas is a big one in my family. So I hate, again, I'm a working man. I'll happily work 364 days of the year. Christmas is the one day I'd like to reserve if possible. At the NFL, they don't give a shit. They'll take whatever they want.
See, I like these two, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Those are big for me because we do the fish the night before,
Yeah, right. We had a Christmas Eve game not too long ago, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a couple years ago.
So what do you take of this here? How about this question here? You think you have the depth right now if you're looking at your roster to get through that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good on the offensive side of the ball, obviously. I think you still got great depth over there. I mean, I think you maybe improved your depth a little bit at running back if Dylan is healthy. That's a big if, I will say that. But I like him better than I liked Kenny Gainwell. Then you have Will Shipley at 3. Your wide receivers, you could probably use another body there. I'm not a huge Dotson guy, but Dotson played well when he got the ball. So it's hard for me to criticize him, because Jalen just doesn't go to the wide receiver 3 too much. So I got no concerns on offensively, but you go to that defense.
No concern at right guard. No concern at right guard at all.
Minimal. I mean, it's there. It exists, but it's not. I can't.
Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most concerned.
I mean, listen, man, we got. Let's just run through it as much. I'll rattle off as many as I can off the top of my head.
Because the run game's important to this team.
Right. Tyler Steen. You got the 2 guys they just drafted. You got Trevor Keegan. You got Kendall Lamb. You got Matt Pryor. You got all of these. I mean, there's 7 dudes. Like, are you telling me Jeff Stoutland can't get one of them to play in between a bunch of all pros?
You want to hear a prediction? I think Matt Pryor wins that job.
Me too. I think that's a good take by you. I said that when they signed him, because remember, he's got the most experience. I could see Stoutland wanting him in there. So I'm not worried about that. You go to the defensive side of the ball. You still got a lot of great players, but you certainly do have some question marks there. Now, I don't think the depth is as big of a problem as you. I mean, yesterday you're telling me you're treating backups like starters.
You're treating backups like starters.
You lost the backup corner.
Holy cow! I just listened to your show today, and they had more question marks than I did. I was like, holy shit! I mean, hey, you're not better here. Hey, you're not better here. Hey, you're not. I'm going like, wait a minute.
Is this your new thing? You got to get McMullen's approval before you can bring the topic to the show.
No, the 2 other guests you had on were saying the same shit.
Yeah, Gil has been ultra negative.
And he's usually Mr. Positive, isn't he?
Not Mr. Positive, but he's definitely been a little bit like, whoa, he brought up questions on Zach Vaughn. I'm like, holy crap. So, he went a little far for me. But no, I don't feel as bad about it. Sileo keeps telling, you lost Isaiah Rodgers.
You did.
What will you do? I don't know. I think we'll be all right. All right.
With who?
Backup corner.
Okay, let me ask you this. So, of all the guys you have replaced with, who do you think is better at any one of the guys you lost, either first team or second team? Who is better in the replacement of any one of the guys you lost on defense this year?
Moro Ajomo.
Moro's better than Milton Williams.
I didn't say that. I said Moro Ajomo is going to be good, though, because he's playing next to Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis.
Okay.
All right. I ain't worried about that position.
Wait a minute. That's not what I asked you. I asked you, who do you think?
Wait a second. Before we have this combo, you're not gonna put on your stink face like yesterday and say, new topic, Xander. Okay, Sills.
Old news, just like February 9th. Hey.
The best team in football is the Philadelphia Eagles, and you get the honor of covering them, baby.
Deflecting. Yeah, deflecting. All right.
I'm not deflecting shit. I feel pretty good about this year. Now, listen, there are questions, but that's every team in the NFL.
Every team's not the champ, son.
Yeah, I know.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. It's a good thing.
I know. Talking about the Jets losing somebody or talking about the Eagles losing somebody, that's quite a leap. I mean, you're losing with anybody that's on the number 1 ranked defense versus the Jets who are 31st. It's not the same shit. I mean, it's just not the same convo. Hey, man, I love that one that John brought up today. I got to bring it up.
I mean, it's funny. You know, I was thinking about this, and I'm like, boy, JAKIB, the network. All right, we have me. We got Big Sills, the legend Dan Sileo, and we got Johnny Mac, the number 1 Eagles beat reporter in town. I come up here, and I listen to you two dweebs. You would have thought we were the Jets last year. I mean, between you two, it's like we're not talking about a Super Bowl champion team that just ran through the NFL. Like
you don't have a Super Bowl champion team right now.
Yeah,
that team was dismantled.
Howie's been on a tear for the last 5 years, and you can't admit it. You can't admit it.
Wait a minute.
Little man syndrome.
It's the February 9th. It's the February 9th roster of the Super Bowl champions playing September 4th.
Bullshit.
Negatory.
Find me another team.
Negatory.
Find me another team in the league that
there
has
isn't.
to let draft picks go because
they
drafted too many good players. Guys, we hit on too many picks. We got a problem, everybody. We hit on too many of our picks.
He's right. There isn't a team that has the same team from a year ago. You're right, including you. Exactamendo.
This team is gonna have a great year. They're going to have a great year. They're going to learn a lot from this schedule. I'll tell you that. Look, I will agree. This is a tough schedule. There's no doubt. I mean,
your rookies.
There's no let up in this. Like last year, you had some moments where it was a let up, man. Dallas, Kansas City, Rams, and Tampa. That's your first 4 games.
That's insane.
I mean, the Rams are arguably the second best team, on my opinion, on paper in the NFC. Maybe third if you want to go Commanders. The Tampa Bay Bucks have had our number for the better part of the last 3 years.
Kansas City,
In Tampa, right, in September. Kansas City, Dallas, I think will handle pretty easily week 1, but I do think they'll be solid. I don't know. You got 8 games before the bye. 7-1.
7-1.
I don't know. What will we predict? I'm not sure.
Let's see here.
Celia will come in and say, you'll be 2-6 before the bye week.
Well, my take started going south after the bye because I had you 2-2, but then things fell apart after that for Big Sills.
And then here's Cataldi, 0-8 before the bye.
Hold on, 0-8. Here's what I say. Let's see here. Cowboys and Chiefs. There's 1-1. Let's see. Rams. Let's see. That's 1-2. Bucks. That's 1-3. Broncos 2-3. Giants 5-3. Vikings 6-3. I say you're 6-3 by the bye.
Well, no, there's only 8 games before the bye, you goofy.
Let's see. Okay, my bad. So let's see here. I got you here. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got you 5 and 3. Heading into the bye.
5-3 is not bad. I think it's better, probably closer to 6-2. I could see. I think Kansas City is going to come back to earth this year, so I think this is going to be the year that it finally catches up to them a little bit. They're going to eventually need to regroup on talent. I mean, I know you joke, and you're right in some regards where, hey, the Eagles lost some talent this summer. They did, right? And they replaced them with a lot of Temu signings and draft picks. So we are guessing, but doesn't it feel like last 3 years
Yeah.
the Chiefs have lost talent every year. Like eventually, I feel like that's going to catch up to them. So I think the Chiefs could come back to earth a little bit.
I think it has. When you lose Honey Badger, you lose the kid Snead. You're getting an older Travis Kelce. You lost guys in the old line. Tooney, you lost too as well. Let's not forget.
I got a 7-1 pre-bye, I think, and I mean that honestly. I mean, I'm not even trying to. I think the Rams will. I think the Rams is the one loss I have, just because I think that's a tough early game coming off Dallas and Kansas City. LA's coming back to Philly.
So you're going down to Tampa Bay and beating them, in your opinion?
I do. I think we're going to. I mean, we beat them in 23 in the regular season early. I think we can get that win, especially if AJ and, Devontae are out there and healthy like they weren't last year. So I feel fine about that game. I mean, look, they have gotten better, though, too, But Lane Johnson's going to be taking little Hassan Reddick and serving him up, Say it, buddy. Knocking him off, knocking him to the turf. I'm not worried about that. And
Tristan Wirfs is going to plant Nolan Smith like he's a fig tree in your pop's backyard.
Yeah, Tristan Wirfs is good. I'll give you that. Tristan Wirfs is damn good. Man, that's funny. Wait, you're not going to tell me that Bo Sticks is going to beat us, is he?
No,
he's not beating shit. Giants twice before the bye is grandiose. That's 2 wins. Lock it in. And then Minnesota, they don't have a damn quarterback. I mean, what are we doing here? So that's 7-1.
I love this.
7-1 pre-bye. Gear up at the week 9 bye. Position yourself to not have a fall off like you did in 23. And let's freaking go, baby.
No fall off. Oh my God. You refuse to answer. What's the guy's name? Mike Gill. And who's the other guy you had on today?
Brandon Lee Gouton.
All right, let me ask you something. Name me one spot on your defense where you think your replacement is going to be a better football player. And do not tell me Moro Ajomo.
I'm done listening to you nerds tell me what to think of the football team. The team is fine.
Keely Ringo overplay.
I didn't say that.
I didn't say you did. I'm looking for a guy.
You're acting like it
Andrew Makuba over CJ, right?
It's not going to cost us, man. Look, there's going to be growing pains. You're going to have things that aren't as good as last year. You had a historic team last year. I mean, you're not going to be that good.
I know this.
You got to be in the conversation. If we end up 12-5, 13-4, I think is a better chance of that happening. Even if we go 11-6, as long as we get into the playoffs and are healthy at the playoffs, I will predict this team will go to the Super Bowl if they're healthy at the start of the playoffs. I don't give a shit. You know what? We're going to do these wins and losses, and everybody will get on somebody or jump or be mean if Sileo predicts them to be 9-8 or whatever. I don't really care. I don't care what the regular season record is. Get into the fucking playoffs and win. That's what the Eagles need to do, and they're going to be ready to do that this year.
Remember, they didn't win home field last year. I mean,
no, they didn't.
Detroit laid an egg and rolled it over for them there. And by the way, no, the Eagles took care of business. Detroit didn't.
How's it feel? You're going to cover another team heading to the bowl?
No. This is going to be one of the absolutely great years for me. I already see it because.
Well, you're better because if you have another year like last year, man, your record will shift below 500.
You see what I'm going to do, folks? I'm going to put this youngster in his spot here.
You said the same thing.
I had a year ago like Nick had in 23.
No.
Oh, no. I've never had a year like that in my 40 years of broadcast.
Oh, no. I'm saying that you are on a bad streak right now, and I'm not sure that you've maloiked yourself out of it.
I predicted already that
you didn't predict shit.
Kevin Petula will have his play calling duties yanked by week 10. Week 10.
Anything yet.
Here's a prediction then. Week 10, Kevin Petula will have his stripes taken from him and his play calling duties.
No,
week
fake news.
10.
Remember, that's what we call fake news, everybody.
That's what we call a prediction with nuts on it.
How you doing? Yeah, like your other shitty prediction that the stinky communists are going to win the NFC East. That's not happening.
Yeah, guess what? Oh, gee, I was so wrong, but they made the NFC title game. Gee, I'll tell you what, I was one of the very few people that said that team would have a great year this year.
The year is going to be like 2046. You'll be on your death.
You know what? Isn't it funny when you hear Xander? Everybody's taking a step back except the Eagles. I think Kansas
I didn't
City's
say
gonna
that. I
take
just
a
admitted
step
they're going
back.
to take a
I
step
think
back.
Washington's going to take a step back. Hey, I think Detroit's going to take a step. What
You
about
didn't listen to me.
We're going to the Super Bowl and winning that bitch.
You didn't listen to me. I just said.
Oh no, I have been.
You are not going to be historic like you were last year. That's why it's called historic. All right. You're going to have a great team. There's going to be growing pains. If the team gets into the dance and they're healthy, which they obviously will, this team is the Super Bowl favorite in the NFC. I don't care what anybody says about the defense. I don't care what you say. I don't care what McMullen, Gill, BLG, Gary Cobb. I don't give a shit.
There you go. Keep that up there, Prince. Keep going, and Reyes. That's what I love about this here.
Big sales.
So they got Dak.
Big
Mahomes.
sales.
Hey, get this. Dak, Mahomes, and Stafford, and even Mayfield, who owns you. This is who Keely Ringo and Tristan McCullum is lining up against.
Tristan McCullum. This guy's a 4-string safety, and Silio's got.
Wait a minute. Sidney Brown and Keely Ringo. Or wait, who's the stiff that got cut by the? And Dory Jackson.
Let's make up. We need a nickname for Makuba. Someone give me a nickname for Makuba. McClamps.
McClamps. Oh man, no, we'll get to all your guys. I promise we'll do the super chats here.
You know what I'm excited for? I'm excited for the battle royale today. Eagles Cowboys opener. I don't think they knew that last time we did that.
Oh no, right? They didn't. No,
that's gonna be a great one today.
Hey, has any of the Cowboy schedule been?
I'm sure some of it. I haven't obviously followed it as closely as the Eagles.
Yeah. Me too. I don't know anything on it, so I'd like to know what the Cowboys look like because. Dude, you know the team that's got the toughest schedules, like the Giants. I think it's because they're playing the NFC East is playing the NFC North this year, and I think that's why the schedule is so whacked. Commanders
on the Cowboys. What do they have?
So Cowboys open up obviously with the Eagles. I'd like to know what their first month of their season looks like.
They'll be starting the year 0-1. You could bank that.
Dude. You see John Ritchie crying about going, why does that team get a chance to open with Philly in a big-time ball game? I'm like, John, shut up. Seriously, dude.
All right, so they got week 1 is Eagles, obviously. Week 2, they play the Giants. They don't have a full schedule.
Oh, my God. That's a layup for them. Are you kidding me?
All right, dude, try it. It's a division game, man. Any given Sunday. Have you not seen Jackson Dart?
No, I haven't. Hey.
Week 5, they got the Jets. Week 8,
Jets. Wait a minute. Say this again to me, the first 3.
I don't know if this is even confirmed, by the way. I hope it is. I'm just reading some dude's Twitter. Week 5, Jets. Week 8 at Broncos. Week 13, Chiefs. That's Thanksgiving. Week 14, Lions. Week 17, Commanders. Week 18, Giants. That's I don't have the
3 weeks are Eagles, Giants, and Jets.
So their toughest 4-week stretch is week 12, they have the Eagles. Week 13, they got the Chiefs. Week 14, the Lions. And then week 15, the Vikings. That's a tough 4-week stretch for them. But that's what our whole schedule looks like, for crying out loud.
They look like to me, man. They hooked the Cowboys up in that opener, dog. I get they didn't have that great a year, but holy cow, man. The Eagles open up with the Cowboys, the Chiefs and the Rams and the Bucks and the Broncos, all playoff teams, except Dallas. And you're walking into that, and you start the year with the Eagles, the Giants, and the Jets. Holy cow.
The league wants the Cowboys to be better.
Oh, my God.
That's not a conspiracy. The league wants the Cowboys to be better for sure. So they're going to give them some layups. But at least they gave us the privilege of embarrassing them on the opening night of the entire NFL season while we drop our Super Bowl banner.
Get this. Here's what let's just play a little game here now. Can you imagine if the Philadelphia Eagles lose that opener, drop the Chiefs, and then lose at home again to the Rams, and you're sitting at 0-3.
That would never happen.
Never, ever?
Never. A 0% chance that happens.
see here.
I will wear a Dak Prescott jersey for a week on the show if that happens.
Okay, week 14, May 14th, Xander Krause said he'll wear a Dak Prescott jersey.
Wait, can we pick a new player? Can we do like Jackson Dart or something? Like, give me a new player. I don't want to do Dakota.
How about what's his name? The Cowboy edge rusher, Micah Parsons.
Oh, Micah Stifler. All right, I'll do him.
So if you start the year 0-3, you have to wear a Parsons jersey. Is that what you're saying?
My boy who lives near me is a Cowboy fan. I'll go over and get a jersey from him. I ain't buying one.
Wow, man. So you think you roll the Cowboys, right?
Roll them.
You think you roll the Chiefs?
I think you roll the Chiefs too. Yep.
No way.
I don't think the Chiefs are going to be that good this year. I think they're going to be like 9-8, 10-7.
So you really feel comfortable Keely lining up? Okay, all right. So hey, so you think? What about the Ram game?
The Ram game is the one that I put as the loss in the 7-1 start, just because I think that that's a game that the Rams are capable enough of matching us as a team. And I think Stafford's going to have a good year. I like Devontae Adams over Cooper Kupp. I think that's a big upgrade. And I think they've done really good things on defense as well. So I think the Rams are in a good spot. I think the Rams are going to be a good team this year.
If you're looking at two games back to back that concern you the most, here's for me: Bucks and Rams, Green Bay and Lions. This week 16 Washington, not this 18, because I don't know if that game will matter.
Yeah, which sucks, by the way. Remember, because that's our home game. So they kind of put our home game in a spot where it's possible it doesn't matter. Now, I think it will matter. I think that could be, a game for the East, but we'll see.
Or home field.
Or home field.
I think that week 16 and 17 with Washington and Buffalo, week 16 and 17. Lions and Cowboys, 11 and 12.
Lions, Cowboys, yep, 11-12. That's a tough stretch with Green Bay, Lions, Cowboys. That's not a bad pregame. Chicago doesn't scare me much.
Yeah, but again,
how about week 16, 17, 18 going into the playoffs, dude?
But what I'm saying is, look, it's not so much that you're worried about Chicago. Aren't you worried about the attrition here? I look at like this.
Well, overall, I think that's a theme of the year, right?
Yes. See, to me, look at this. If I look at the Eagles matched up against any one of these teams, you would probably favor Philadelphia. But what I'm looking at is Lions, Cowboys, Chicago, Chargers. And I'm looking at that ball and going, man, dude, that's a lot of tough football where you got to play really good football teams here.
Right.
And really, like, look at the coaches here. Dan Campbell. Again, the coach, Dallas, whatever. The new guy, Ben Johnson. You got Jim Harbaugh there. And like I said, to start the season, you've got the Cowboy guy, okay? You've got Andy Reid. You've got Sean McVay. And you've got Todd Bowles. And you've got Sean Payton. Every guy's won a Super Bowl. Except the Cowboy guy. You're taking on Super Bowl coach.
I've been telling people that I think the Cowboys have a good chance to get second in the NFC East this year. My biggest question on them is, what is that Schottenheimer guy? Is he going to be worth anything?
That was a very good John Gruden, just what you just sounded like there.
Just not sure what that. I'm not sure what that guy's going to be yet. You know what I'm saying, ESLs?
What about Ben Johnson? Who do you think you have a better shot of having success, Schottenheimer or Johnson?
Johnson, I'll say this about Shotty. Who's their offensive coordinator?
Dallas?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Who
did Dallas sign as their OC? I forget who they signed. I forget who they brought up or elevated.
I don't hate their defensive coordinator. It's Matt Eberflus.
Yeah.
Clayton Adams is their offensive coordinator. I've never even heard of him.
I think that's a hire from within. I think Schottenheimer elevated because Schottenheimer was the OC last year.
Right.
So that sounds like an elevation.
Clayton Adams. What's worse, Clayton Adams or Kevin Petula?
I'll take Kevin Petullo any day, man. Especially when you got a running attack like that.
Oh,
like I said, though,
Eberflus is not bad as a defensive coordinator, though. So he's not. Eberflus is a choker, but he's not the head coach, so it doesn't really matter. He's not bad at calling defense.
if I'm not mistaken, didn't oh no, that was Adam Gase. Oh no, that was Matt Nagy. That won Coach of the Year.
Matt Nagy.
He won Coach of the Year.
Fuck Matt Nagy.
He did. You know where he is now? He's the OC in KC.
Is he?
Yeah, he's Andy Reid's OC.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, Matt Nagy certainly doesn't scare me, and he might be overseeing a big fall from grace this year. Enjoy, Matt Nagy.
You hear him? Everybody's gonna have a fall from grace, but the Phillies.
Yeah, I woke up feeling dangerous today, Sills. I woke up feeling good about the damn Philadelphia Eagles, man, and I'm letting you hear it. I listened to John McMullen and Mike Gill, and I re-listened to that.
I woke up feeling dangerous with Keely Ringo at the top of my mind. And Tristan McCullum and some dude named Mabuka.
Dude, if Keely Ringo is good this year, I am never going to let you hear the end of it. I swear. I'm never going to let you hear the end of it.
I'm not concerned.
Keely!
I'm not concerned with Keely Ringo having a great year.
You don't think Keely Ringo's got a shot at greatness?
No, I do not. What are you going to do if that guy shits the bed? Who plays for him?
What's that?
Who plays for him if he shits the bed?
Who, Keely? Adoree Jackson. That's actually not bad. I mean, Adoree Jackson Sills was not an awful player a couple years ago. He had a couple down years, I think, recently, but he's not an awful signing for us, I don't think, at all.
Dude, you don't have one guy you've signed or drafted that will take the place of anybody you lost. Nobody.
Morojomo will be better. Ready? You want to bold? Ready? Morojomo will have a better season this year than Milton Williams has this year in New England.
But you're projecting him because he's a free agent this year coming up in 26 that he'll sign for $26 million. No,
I'm not saying that. I didn't say that. I didn't say better than Milton last year. I said better than Milton this year.
So Milton being on wait a minute. So Milton's on the New England Patriots, and this guy's supposed to be on a Super Bowl
that's the entire
cheeseburger defense or whatever you call it. He's going to have an elite year playing defense.
Milton ain't playing next to Jalen Carter anymore, man. It's going to be a tough uphill battle for
Jalen Carter doesn't have the help he had a year ago.
Oh, bullshit. Jalen Carter made that whole thing go. Stop.
Oh, wait.
Oh, you're telling me Milton Williams helped Jalen Carter out more than the other way around?
I'm telling you, yes.
Oh, my God.
No, not more.
Are you kidding?
Not more. No. But wait a minute. So Xander's under the impression then that with those two guys and what Jalen Carter did for those two guys, even though he was the third most double-team defensive tackle in football, that somehow magically, without those two players in there, is going to improve with Moro Ajomo and Chocolate Thunder, or what's his name?
Wait, so
the Great White Hope?
Sileo would let Jalen Carter walk and sign Milton.
So wait a minute. Wait, no. You really believe that you're going to see less double teams with White Chocolate and the rest of these dudes than what you saw a year ago? You're high.
Listen closely. Who's that?
You know what that is? That's Jordan Davis on his back.
That's Jordan Davis. That's his big thun. That's his feet coming in and dismantling the offensive line while Moro Ajomo runs free, baby. Are you kidding me, Sileo?
Let's get somebody.
You didn't get me once today.
Get you once? No, you didn't have to because you're delusional. You're like on the Jim Jones juice.
Yo, Mark, I see Holmes in the green room. I know I was telling him the Cowboys going to be the 2 seed in the East and all. They're going to get embarrassed in week 1. Don't you feel bad for them? I mean, it's going to be funny.
Hey, the Dallas Cowboys are going to walk in there.
They're going to get absolutely destroyed.
by the way, man, you know how
that's if Pickens, by the way, makes it through training camp.
Hey, do you know how when you're a Cowboy guy and all of a sudden you think you're going to date the hottest chick in the room, you're in the room, you see her, you go up there and she looks at you and goes, "You're kidding, right?" That's what the Eagles are going to look at. They're going to go like this. Look,
I got to be honest, Sills, I don't know what you're talking about because that never happened to me.
Me too, actually, too. I married a prom queen. I done. I get that. Let's read these supers before we get to
we got a rad
Mr. Cowboy himself.
All right, let's go. Fleming, what's up, Brian Fleming? He says, I'd rather have Sills after 12 Coronas and a full plate of Scungil at that corner than Keely Ringo. JD3 says, Makuba stands will be crying for CJ just like we did in 23. He talked too much and played too aggressive, but he was the first to step up for his team. He also got blown and beaten coverage multiple times last year. He's one of the worst guys on our defense overall.
Listen. And every year he was an Eagle, they were in the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure that was only because of
I'm sure that was no. According to Xander, that's just coincidence.
Yeah, the free safety. Guys, without him, we wouldn't have won it.
I'm sure that, the 12 turnovers had no impact on the number 1 ranked pass defense. I'm just sure.
Just like the backup corner was.
Get this, and so he's going to put a guy back there called.
Just like we won't survive the loss of Isaiah Rodgers.
Hey, remember, Christian McCullum, you vote for him on your All-Pro team this coming year.
Eric Lucetta says, with the coaching on defense, I'm confident anything is possible.
Coaches don't play snaps, son.
Kimbo says, Villa and Watson can stop the Wait, you're not talking about that dude who ate Jordan Davis, are you? Is that who she's talking about? Desmond Watson? That's a dude who ate Jordan Davis, the guy that got drafted this year. Yeah. Kimbo, that guy's not ready to play in the NFL yet. I'm sorry. No way.
That 450-pound kid from Florida?
Yeah, the guy who ate Jordan Davis. Josh B says, why can't Moro Jomo be as good as Milton Williams? No one thought Milton would be elite last year. I agree, Josh.
Josh, I have not seen Moro Jomo play the run to any significance where I think he's a good run defender.
That's where the greatness of Jordan Davis comes in.
Milton, well, wait, that guy's on the end, so he is going to have no very much impact on him. He's playing next to Carter. Carter will help him more.
JD3 says 11-6, 10-7 feels about right. Defense will have growing pains. Just hope they click at the right time. Too much McMullen and Sileo, JD3. Prince says, yes, I own you.
Smart. Hang in there.
We got them all. Oh, wait, one more. Kokorski says, me trusting Ringo to play cornerback is the same as Sirianni calling. Kokorski, you've been out on this team for months, dude. What's going on over there?
Hey, Kyle, just remember
Sileo.
George Seifert. That's who Nick Sirianni is. George Seifert. Always remember that, my friend. Hey, if you want to get a good taste of Big Sills, all you got to do is tune into Birds 365. Those guys kind of sound like Big Sills now. I don't know. Maybe they've been Sileo-ized.
I agree. John is like John Sileo. He's no longer John McMullen. He's John Sileo.
What happens when you listen to Big Sills, Xander? Great work. Hey, by the way, dog.
Which one? Wait, Prince is crying. Has Prince? Yo, Prince, I'm waiting for the day that comes where you're not crying about some shit.
Seriously, man, this guy needs a bottle of Midol.
Where's Prince's? We got this. I own you a shirt. We got that, Prince. Which one?
Give me a win. We want to war.
Is it this one? Sure you and J-Mac had us worried about the AFC North 4-0 last season. The schedule is what it is. As a fan, I don't see anyone matching up to us winning. We got that one too. Prince played us. Prince, word is bond, Prince, and you just broke it with me.
Holy cow, Prince.
All right, I'm out of here, Stills.
Hey, brother, keep up the great work on
Thank you, bro.
Bird 365. Make sure all you fools check it out. Thank you guys so much, Big Z. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, we can win. Anytime you say anything negative about your girlfriend, Jalen Hurts, he's the best quarterback I've ever seen in my life. He's the best guy. And you're like, dude, I mean, honestly, how many times, before I bring Mark Holmes in here, how many times have you ever heard this? Can you imagine saying this in Dallas? Well, we didn't really need Dak all year, so we're going to put him in the shed for 17 weeks. Oh, but when we need him, we'll pull him out. Like, nobody has that distinction in the history of pro football. Nobody. Hey, I don't need Joe Montana for 17 weeks, but we'll pull him out because Roger Craig has been great all year. Hey, let's play that game before I get Mark in. Let me read this super Mark. I'll get to you. Philly 500 is going to join us in a second. So let me get this. I didn't really need Roger Staubach at all ever. I mean, shit. I just kept him in the barn and we played Craig Morton. We didn't really need anybody. So, wait a minute. We're going to bring Staubach out when we need him. Who in their right mind would ever put that tag on Patrick Mahomes? Hey, Patrick, don't worry about it. We don't need you for 17 weeks. because we're going to run with Freddie Pacheco, Ali's doctor. I'm like, bro, he's the only guy on the planet that has this distinction. Am I wrong? Hey, don't worry. You know, Jalen wasn't really asked to do anything with his 18 touchdown passes and his $2,000 passing yards. He didn't need to because they had Barkley. I've never heard that before. It's the lamest excuse I've ever heard for a guy that was told to sit down. I've never heard that. Here, Xander, this type of energy, I want to see when people want to tell us the uncertainty with all the changes, guarantees we won't win a Super Bowl or the division. Championship energy, says Brandon. Keep it up, kid. I know that you think all those wonderful exits that you've had on your team, that you've got the replacements in the barn. See, the difference between me and the rest of these stiffs, I don't take losses. Kyle, you don't take losses. All right. So week 1, September 4th, the Dallas Cowboys will take on the Philadelphia Eagles. Jerry Jones's last hurrah, basically. And here, so far out of the gate, I love the Cowboys. They got Eagles, Giants, and Jets. Okay? Look at this here. Profanity. Kyle, stop. Ashton Sales, dick, you bitch. So look at, come on. How could you use such harsh language, Prince? Come on, honey. You're a true vulgarian. It's okay, honey. It's okay. Don't let Prince get underneath anybody's skin because his new nickname is Princess. All of that said, here are the Eagles, Cowboys, Chiefs, Rams, Bucks, Broncos. Let's bring our boy in, man, and see how he's feeling about the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Philadelphia Eagles in the opener Thursday, September 4th of this year. Mark Holmes joins us now.
Where's my bottle? Where's my bottle of liquor? What's going on, Big Sills?
How you feeling about that opener?
I'm feeling, you know what? It might be actually good for the Cowboys to play the Eagles week 1. And, you know, it doesn't really, I mean, let's be clear here. I know the champ's not here. They are the defending Super Bowl champions. But the Eagles aren't going to know what to expect from the Cowboys. You've got a whole new coaching staff. We've got quite a few new players. And, you know, there's not really a known commodity like there is with the Eagles. You know basically what the Eagles are going to do. Granted, they will have a new offensive coordinator, but they probably aren't going to change a whole lot. The second thing with the Eagles is, if you remember the opening game against Green Bay, they kind of started out real slow. I believe Jalen Hurts had 2 interceptions in the first half of that game. And it's a possibility that the Cowboys could jump out on them. Third thing is at the moment, you've got circle on the calendar and you're hearing everybody shit on you and telling you you've got no chance, that they could get pumped up and have this whole mentality of us against the world.
I would say this to you, Mark. I would say this to you. For the Cowboys to have a shot in this game, you got to keep the Eagle defense, in my opinion, on the field.
Mm-hmm.
You can't allow the Eagle offense to stay on the field, especially if they're going to run the football. Okay? They're not they've got to keep that offense on the field. Do you think you have enough to do that? Because the Eagle defense will be tested. And again, I don't care who you are. They don't have one player that they're replacing this year that's with a better player that played a year ago on that side of the ball. They just don't. You know, it's all conjecture and it's all, hey, I feel this guy will do it. Well, again, I'll tell you what I feel when people say that. You know, that's potential. You know what potential means to me? You haven't done it.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think they have enough of the firepower to at least – you need to make this game a fourth quarter ball game.
I agree on that one. And getting George Pickens, everybody shit on George Pickens, and everybody's saying he's a locker room cancer. But thus far, everything you've heard from George Pickens, even with Steeler fans going after him, has been saying the right thing. I don't know how Stephen Jones, and if you tell Stephen Jones, tell him that I think that this is the best move that they have done in forever. You got a guy who's dirt cheap, who is trying to get paid. You only gave up a third-round pick. He's hungry, and he knows if I stay out of trouble and I perform on the field, I'm going to get big-time money, whether it's from the Cowboys or somebody else. And so he's going to be out here to ball out. You got Dak Prescott, and I know Eagle fans just say, poo-poo and try and say the only time the Cowboys ever win is when it doesn't matter or it's not playoffs. But the Cowboys with Dak Prescott plays really, really well with them. Now having CD and George Pickens, who can take your guys deep, if Ferguson is healthy and gets back to where he was 2 years ago, and with our running game, you can spread the field out. That's something we could not do last year. I see you laughing.
Hang on here. We can't leave him muted like this. We have to bring in the champ here. We have to bring in Philly 500 now. Let's bring his butt in here, man. He's seething at the bit here. Let's bring in Philly 500 here, man. He can't take it. I could have swore I saw a vomit bag getting pulled out like an airplane vomit bag when this guy was talking. Philly 500, what's your retort?
Golden era.
Lordy.
Let's do it. Listen, this guy is so full of garbage. It's not even funny. Oh, everybody's against George Pickens. They hate the trade. Us, Dallas, everybody's picking on us. But we are going to come through and show everybody this. All a bunch of crap. All right? Everybody knows that the Pickens trade was a good trade for them. Nobody said it was a bad trade. What people said was that the guy's, he has, mental breakdowns and stuff, and he could be a locker room problem, which I don't think is going to be a factor. But he's trying to downplay his team right now so that everything that they do looks better. I know how this guy thinks. I know how he operates. And he ain't
Are you trying to set us up here, Mark Holmes? Because you believe
what me? Hold on. You already have Vegas with you guys being a 7-point, favorite, right? Right?
Seven, that's it? I thought it would be more. 7 points, that's
Dude,
it?
we haven't had OTAs mini camps yet, okay? How the hell can you put 7 points on? You have no idea who's even making the roster. I don't even know who's going to be, running backs for us right now. How are you going to say that they're already 7-point favorites? They got us dead and buried.
Man. What do you make? Hey, Philly 500.
Line.
What about the line there being only 7 points?
That'll come down to a reasonable number, like 4 or 5 by the time this started the season. It's in May. They're trying to get people to bet the game. That's no biggie. It's no biggie at all. I think he's making a mountain out of a molehill.
How about this one here for you? Here's your starting of the season here. Cowboys September 4th. Chiefs.
Boom.
Rams.
Boom, boom.
Bucks.
I love it. Yeah.
Broncos. Week 6, Giants. Week 7, Vikings. Week 8, Gigantes. Week 9 is your bye. Green Bay at Lambeau Field, Week 10. Lions turn around NFC North battle again.
Yeah.
Look at that there. Hey, Mark, huh?
Damn.
Then you have Cowboys again in Week 12 in Arlington. Then you got Chicago, the Chargers. It's in Week 15. And you close up shop with Washington, Buffalo, and Washington again.
That end of the schedule. I feel great. I feel great. Are you kidding?
I got you 11 wins in that thing.
All right. I mean, I haven't gone through it yet. I haven't looked at like the times and certain things, so I don't know what my schedule is, but like my prediction week to week. But I'm guessing it's going to be somewhere between 12 and 14 games. I think somewhere in there.
With that defense,
Yeah, with that
those
defense.
question
You're
marks
damn
are-
right with them defense.
Hold on.
It's only a question mark until it's answered very shortly after the season begins, which it will
Name
be.
me one place where you feel the replacement is better than the guy
Running back.
No, on defense.
On defense, I would say I like the depth at the edge better than I did a year ago. Because I think Jalen Hunt is a star. And I think Jalen Hunt is going to make people forget about Josh Sweat. But I also like Aziz Ojulari coming in, rotating in. And I also like Uche. These are guys that can produce in rotational ways. So in some ways, I kind of like the depth at the edge a little more than I thought I would early in the offseason.
Mark, what about your depth on your team? I mean, look, this is the only offseason I've ever seen where Cowboy guys, you're not really talking about what you're building. What are you building? I'm not, it's not a goof, but do you feel the organization is at least heading in the right direction?
Oh, hell yeah.
Bettering the football team now with the draft picks and free agency. I mean, give me a sense of what you guys are talking about here, because it just looks like it's stagnant a little to me. Maybe I'm wrong.
I have to disagree with you on that, because the moves the Cowboys have made, they're not the Saquon Barkleys. Let's be real here. Okay. That and the Derrick Henry were probably the two biggest moves. Derrick Henry just got his extension, 2 years, $30 million. Congratulations to him. But the Cowboys' biggest problem last year was there was no depth whatsoever. When we ended up having 3 edge rushers hurt by the beginning of the season, and then all of a sudden Brandon Cooks goes out and he's got a knee infection and he doesn't play, the cupboard was bare. The Cowboys have gone through, and instead of getting aging guys at the end of training camp, they've gone out and they've tried to fill in each of the positions. We've got some more depth, and I don't think that they're finished just yet. The fact that we have now Pickens as opposed to a broke down Brandon Cooks is a major upgrade. The fact that we don't have old ass running backs like Dalvin Cook and Zeke Elliott that we've gotten, probably Miles Sanders may not make the roster. Javonte Williams is not a bad back. Jaden Blue has got some speed. A lot of what we have is potential, and it's definitely now a younger roster. So I look at it and say, instead of looking at old guys like D-Law who can't stay healthy, I'm looking at a guy like Donovan Easy.
How do you feel about your offense matched up against a football defensive team with the Eagles that have lost 2 people in the secondary and 2 people in the D-line? And again, I don't know who's starting at the other linebacker, right? As of right now, it might be Trotter. It could be the kid they got from Georgia, depending on where they are with Dean. How do you feel with that going into that versus that secondary and that defensive group, which people, if you talk in Philly, they think there's no issue. But to me, I think last year you had an historic defensive football team, and I don't think you improved yourself anywhere. And again, to what 500 said, he said he feels good about the edge. Well, they didn't have superior edge rushers last year. They won a Super Bowl without a superior edge. They didn't really need anybody. They had great play in the secondary, great linebacker play, and great edge play when it came to their defensive ends. How do you feel with the Cowboys lining up on the opening week against a defense that, how about I use what Philly 500 says, with potential that we haven't seen yet? How do you feel about Dak lining up against that team?
Well, Dak is about really the only known quantity, him and CD. Everything here is, potential as far as what we've got. We got Tyler Booker, who doesn't seem to be scared of Jalen Carter. Will Tyler Guyton be a credible, left tackle? I don't know. But I do know one thing, having Pickens out there and CD Lamb will stretch the field. You can't double cover both of those guys. And if Dak Prescott is healthy with the way he's always played against the Eagles, I think you got a good chance against that defense.
Hey, 500, let me put this to you, put it this way here. All right. So you're telling me you're going to have Terrence Steele and Tyler Booker. That'll be your right side guard and tackle tandem. And over on the left side, it's Tyler Guyton and Tyler Smith. Is that right? That's what you're going to have.
And Cooper Beebe in the middle.
And Cooper Beebe in the middle, snapping footballs to his mom. Okay, that guy. Hey, 500, how do you feel about Jalen Carter playing?
I feel like it's a break for the Eagles. I mean, Tyler Booker's first game is going to be against Jalen Carter. I mean, that's a hell of a person to go play your first game of your career.
Tyler Guyton's first game was against Myles Garrett.
I don't give a shit. I'm talking about Tyler Booker. The Cleveland Browns stink, right? With Jalen
Myles
Carter.
Garrett doesn't.
No, but he didn't have a lot of help. With the rest of the team, let's face it. I don't think. The reason why Dallas won that game versus Cleveland, if we're going to talk about it, wasn't because Dallas's offense was so superior. It was because the offense of the Browns couldn't move the ball. I think they had like 3 first downs. That was one of the worst offensive outputs I've ever seen by a professional football team. So let's just make sure we know that.
Let me make sure I get this straight. I'm in a no-win situation here. If I say that the Cowboys stink, you turn around and say I'm trying to play psychology on it. If I say we got a chance, you tell me we got no chance. You're an idiot. There's no.
I didn't call you an idiot. I didn't call you an idiot. I just said I don't agree with you.
Implied.
See, look, no, I've never seen Cowboy fan more sensitive right now than what I'm watching with Mark Holmes. I thought you had some cannolis on you, and you're
I didn't.
I'm happy.
I didn't say you were an idiot.
Okay. Compared to how I was during the season, I have some hope now. Okay. When it used to be coming on here, I try and get lit up before I got on the show.
Yeah, well, we'll see where you're at week 5.
Hey, I do want to say this to Mark, and I want Philly 500 to hear this.
Uh-oh.
Okay? Have you in your entire life ever heard this as an excuse for somebody that plays the quarterback position? Here's the quote. We didn't need to use him last year because we had Saquon Barkley. Can you name another quarterback in NFL history that you would go for 17 weeks?
Who said that?
Well, nobody in their right mind would say he had a good year last year.
Who said that quote?
Eagle fans say that all the time.
Nobody's ever said that. I've never heard that.
Well, then what was the reasoning?
That is so out of context.
What was the reasoning why?
That is a lie.
Then what was the reasoning why you were 30th in passing last year?
We didn't have to pass the ball a lot. That doesn't mean we couldn't.
That's
not the same. No, I'm not saying that. No, I'm not. No, nobody said we didn't need him. Nobody's saying we didn't need him. But you didn't have to throw the ball 35 times a game because your running back was running for 2. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I said they didn't have to throw the ball 35 times a game. They didn't have to throw the ball that much. So the statistics and ranking are lower. That's not saying what you're saying, and what you're implying is that we're saying that we don't need them, we don't use them because we don't have to. What I'm saying is the way the game goes.
Why did he have?
They don't have to. Should he? What moronic coach would you have as a coach? Would you throw the ball 40 times when you have Saquon Barkley?
No. Here's what I'm. No, I wouldn't, because you know why? No other team, including the Ravens, who had a quarterback go for 4,100 yards and 40 touchdowns, would they ever look at Lamar and go, hey, you hang it on over there because Derek's going to carry the mail and we don't need
Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that. But the style of play the Eagles
last year,
they run the ball.
Why did he suck throwing the ball last year?
I don't think he sucked throwing the ball last year.
You don't think there's only 2 worst passing offenses in the NFL than him?
I don't think he sucked when teams played the Eagles and shut down the run and did a good job against the run. Jalen Hurts stepped up in every one of those games.
So when they need
the Super Bowl, including
him,
Pittsburgh.
Wait a minute, you're saying when they needed him, he stepped up, but they didn't really need him the whole time.
Not in the way you're implying it. The way you're implying it, the context of what you're saying is that we're like, hey, Jalen, sit on the sideline and we'll call you if we need you.
That's
Nobody's saying that.
No, nobody's
saying that.
Everyone
said that. That is like CNN saying that some secret source said something.
Excuse is this
bullshit.
Okay. Let me. Can I ask a question here?
Please.
Okay,
Please.
first of all, I'm enjoying the eagle on eagle crime here.
No.
There's nothing better than that.
They
But
won the
my
Super Bowl.
question would be is, hypothetically, let's say Saquon was not your running back. Let's say, I don't know, that Zeke Elliott was.
Well, then everybody
would you be winning the Super Bowl, and would Jalen Hurts be only throwing 23 passes?
No, I don't think you win. I don't think you win the Super Bowl, Mark, without Saquon Barkley. I agree. But let me tell you something. How far do you go without Saquon Barkley? We've already known. We've already seen it. We go to the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts has already taken the Eagles to a Super Bowl. So don't tell me that the guy can't win or the guy can't pass. So you want to talk about stats. Oh, he didn't throw for 4,000 yards and he didn't have 30 touchdown passes. Okay, great.
He's not.
But the guy's been to 2 Super Bowls. How can you say that a guy's not counted on the only year of Super Bowl?
The only year, Mark, that he was ever counted on a week-to-week basis that he played really well was 22. Yeah. He's never played another year.
He didn't play good last year. They won the Super Bowl, but he didn't play good.
He's never played another year, Mark.
You're too in love. You're too in love with statistics and passing numbers.
No, those are
That's
trends.
why you love Herbert. Look at Herbert.
Wait a minute.
Silly. You're a dingbat.
He says I'm
not a dingbat. You're a dingbat. Look, you protect Dak Prescott, and he's never won shit.
If you are in a position, listen, congratulations. You guys did a great thing that you figured out. The best way to win is not to have it through solely your quarterback's arm.
That's right.
Okay? Kansas City went to that game and said, we know Saquon's going to beat us. So we're going to put 8 men in the box. If you got 8 men in the box and you got single coverage on your great wide receivers that you have, yes, your quarterback is going to have better games because he has an advantage. If you are only passing the football to 1/3 of the time, the defense is not going to be able to sell out to go after the quarterback's ass. So early in
the career of Dak Prescott, when you had Zeke Elliott running the ball, however many times he was running the ball, and 26. Dak was limited his throwing, and everybody said Dak was a deacon dunker. He didn't have to pass to win. They counted on the run game. So what you're saying is
getting more than 21 TDs a season.
Dak failed because he couldn't do the things in between the run game and stopping the run
had the
that Jalen Hurts
did. That you have on both sides
Mark.
Of the field,
right. You can't have it both ways.
Bro.
You can't say, well, they didn't expect Jalen Hurts to win,
and
then sit there and then say Dak Prescott didn't do it. It wasn't his fault.
When Zeke Elliott was running the ball really well, which 2019 was the last year that he did.
Okay, so Dak came into the league when? What year did Dak come to the league?
Terrence
Williams, what year did Dak come into the league?
And a rookie, Michael Gallup, when we said, shit, we got to get a receiver, and we had to go out and get Amari Cooper. In the middle of the season when we were 3-5.
Right. And then 2 years later, he threw 37 touchdowns.
37
touchdowns. And then he went to the playoffs and did shit.
How about this? Here, Billy, let me ask you this. You say that I love stats. No, I'm looking at the money. I mean, you're spending money at those perimeter positions to run the ball 38 times a game.
Well, I'll ask you this. To me, it's not spending money 38 times a game. It's spending money to win a Super Bowl. To have a quarterback out there go out and win a Super Bowl.
Do you believe the Eagles are spending that money at $51 million between both guys to have a 30th ranked offense passing?
No, they're spending the money to have people who can win.
Okay,
that's what they're spending their money on. They're spending their money on people.
They spend the money.
They're not worried about the 30th ranked passing offense. They're worried about, do I have a quarterback that can win?
They spend money in the O-line to win.
They spend the money on all of it to win. That's the whole point, right?
So let me say this. So let me ask you this: in Cincinnati, if the Bengals had the 30th ranked offense and they're spending $55 million on the quarterback, $55 million on the receivers, you're saying they're spending money on it to win, even though they're not going anywhere with it. And I mean, they start running the ball all of a sudden.
Then they get frustrated and they say, well, my money wasn't well spent.
So you think the money's well spent?
And there you go.
You think the money's well spent?
I think the money's well spent when you win a Super Bowl and the guy that you gave the money to goes out and wins an MVP. I do.
No,
Yeah.
he played in that game great. He was unbelievable in that game.
His best two games were the biggest games of his career, Sills. So every time Jalen Hurts is in a big moment and he has to make plays, he does it. Maybe he has less opportunities to pass as other teams.
Hey,
fine.
no.
But that's not because he can't do it.
Hey, that's right.
Barkley's that good.
No, I know that. Did you bring him out when you need him? I get it. I understand it.
That sounds so bad, but that's not what I mean. That's not what. That's so that's CNN right there. That's some twisting words.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
Are you feeling any optimism? Now, look, I got to say this to you, man. This league kisses your asses. You're telling me you start the first 3 weeks out with Philly, the Jets, and the Giants? I mean, look, I know they want you to get to the playoffs and all, but I mean, do they have to tee the bitch up for you?
Well, let me interject with a little bit something here. You've got now the Dallas Cowboys promoting CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, Osa Diggins. No, they're actually doing a live stream schedule release thing that's going on. And Micah was asked about the Philly game, and he put it out there. Cowboys are winning this thing 24-21.
Micah said it?
Micah said it. I've got it on videotape.
Your team's stupid.
And he called Quentin Mitchell. Guantanamo Mitchell. I don't know where they're going to this stuff. So you've got the Cowboys. Their players they're not showing any fear right now. And I'm going to be honest with you. It's like this is either the Cowboys rise up and get back to being actually America's team, or they literally are going to crash and burn. With Kansas City on Thanksgiving, with Washington on Christmas, this season opener, I guarantee every primetime game is going to be a big game where, the Cowboys have the opportunity to look great or just look like bums.
Damn, Philly.
I haven't
What's
seen
that score again, Mark?
24-21 is what Micah Parsons called.
24-21. Micah Parsons is barking. They're going to take out the Cowboys, or they're going to take out the Eagles. September 4th in Philly, right there with the banner dropping.
I think that's the worst thing you can say. I mean, I don't see how that helps the Dallas Cowboys.
I'll be honest with you now. The Cowboys, this will be the third time they have played the defending Super Bowl champions. We played against the New York Giants after their last Super Bowl. And FYI, that was Joe Boo's very first game, and it seems like they've been cursed ever since. They ended up playing against Tampa Bay. Dak had like 400 yards passing in that game, and they lost 31-29, but it was a lot closer than anybody thought it would be going against Tom Brady. And now we got the Eagles. And, if you're the Cowboys and you're sick of that ass whipping that you took twice last year from you guys, that's a pretty big motivation to say.
Well, Dak is 9-4 versus the Eagles.
Oh, that's the most.
Go ahead, shake your head. Oh, none of those games matter.
Meaningless statistic.
There you go. Oh, none of those games matter.
Meaningless statistic ever. How can Mark sit there and bring up 9-4, even though you didn't bring it up, but I know you're thinking it?
So
how can it even come up?
If the Cowboys win and it ends up being 10-4, will it still be a meaningless statistic?
But how come the statistic of Dak's 2 playoff wins is meaningless more so than that? How is that even possible? How can you put more in?
We're talking about.
All right, you want to talk about the 9-4 record, right? Let's talk about the 9-4 record. Let's talk about the 9-4 record.
If the Cowboys, who you say stink.
Yeah, they always stink.
Come into your house and kick your teeth in at your party.
Right.
It'll be a meaningless stat.
No, that's not a meaningless stat. That's a great win. But you can't say 9-4 through his career. You're not talking about the same.
We're talking
teams.
Okay. What we're
you're
talking
about the 2016 team, 2017 team, which I think swept you. Then you're talking about 2018, 2019. We had a lot of ups and downs. Now you got to go beat the team that won a Super Bowl last year. That's a whole different story. I don't think your 9-4 record is any part of that.
That February 9th team is not
Well,
going to be lining up.
Well, it's
September
not the
4th.
it's not the same exact team, I know, but it's the closest thing we're going to get. So,
Do you agree with this one, Philly? That you guys may have taken 2 steps back, but you would have had to have taken 5 steps back for the other guys in the league to catch you.
Yeah, I can see that at some level. I mean, I can't sit there and say we're as good as we were a year ago right now. Now, I think by the end of the year, and with the development of some guys, if they develop like I hope they will, I think we'll be pretty even to where we were. But I think going into the season, that's correct.
Mark, I want to ask you, I mean, what's the ammo? I mean, do you feel like a 10-win team this year?
Yeah, actually, I do. Here's the thing. In Dak Prescott's
Are you going to
time,
split with the Eagles this year?
yes. If Dak Prescott is healthy for both games, yes. At
Philly,
least split
do you
the two of
think
them.
that you sweep them?
Yeah. Sweet. I got a broom.
Bro.
They're getting swept. They're getting swept.
Like convincingly?
Let me
The
write
first
this
game's
down.
going to be it's going to be a destruction.
14th.
Then you're going to have a
Okay.
closer game in Dallas, but we'll win.
Week 12, you think that game's closer?
It'll be closer than week 1. Week 1's going to be a destruction. Dallas come out holding their ass that game. It's going to be a destruction.
What do you feel? Are you on the same line, Mark, with Micah
No.
Parsons?
You know what?
21?
I know the Eagles start out slow at the beginning of the season.
Huh.
They do. You started out slow against Green Bay in Brazil, and Philly 500 knows that. And the Dallas Cowboys are not a known quantity. You don't know what we're going to do with Pickens out there. You don't know what we're going to do as far as his
Pickens
running
stop
backs.
the run?
Say what?
Can Pickens stop the run?
Well, if we can get into a track meet, he may stop the run for us.
Mark, here's my only concern about the offense that you guys have is that let's play a game with me here, Philly. Say you get a lead like you did a year ago, even. Didn't you have a lead, like a 10-point lead against the Eagles because Hurts had some turnovers or something? Am I wrong when I say that the second game against
second game was a blowout.
I
was there.
Oh, that's right. He couldn't move the sticks. That's right. And there was a complete destruction. But play with me here. Say you get a 10-point lead on them. Let's just, again, I'm just asking you. Say you get a 10-point lead. How are the Eagles not running you down from behind? And how are you maintaining the clock and just not having 3 and outs for 60 minutes where that team is just going to start running the ball at you and they're going to start taking the clock off? They're going to keep rolling back because you have a tough time stopping the run and you have a tough time running the ball. Bro, if Dak's going to be good this year, they've got to have play action. They just can't have him sitting shotgun because I think that Nolan Smith and Jalen Hunt, I think those guys are going to bring some pressure on that guy, and I'm not sold on Tyler Guyton yet. How are you handling all those dynamics in this?
Well, I'm going to say this offseason has been like none other. I mean, I would have never thought that the Cowboys would have traded for George Pickens. And sitting here with right now $32 million of cap space and more once they finally get Micah done, I don't know that the cake is completely baked right now. And knowing that June 1st is coming around where you're going to see a lot of play teams jettisoning veterans, there's going to be some more moves in here to try and really solidify this team. I agree with you. I don't know about Tyler Guyton, and what you hear from the team themselves and basically saying the best 5 players are going to play, it doesn't give me a whole lot of confidence that they believe that Tyler Guyton is going to be the guy. Now, maybe that's all for motivation. He's been in the gym working. He's been working with Duke Merriweather and everything else, but he's got to be a hell of a lot better than what he was last year.
Hey, Philly, couple more here for you, then we're done here. Let me ask you this. So, Jalen Hurts, Time Man of the Year, Met Galas. You know, Howie Roseman's like the MVP of Philadelphia. He's got the key to the city. You see everyone parading around, all red carpet. I saw a commencement speech by AJ at Ole Miss. Hey, believe in your brand. Never let anybody talk shit on you and believe in your brand. You got all these laureates now parading around the country, going to the White House. I mean, hell, dude, very un-Philly-like, don't you think? You guys accepting awards, running around the city, getting keys to the city. You're like you're people that live in Los Angeles on the red carpet. You think there's too many distractions? I mean,
maybe.
I
think that's what makes it hard to repeat, right? I think a lot of times those are the kind of things. That's what we're going to have to overcome. It could be. It could make us start slow. I don't know. But, it's one of the things that we have to worry about, I think, going into the season.
All right. Do you want to see Justin Simmons or Jadeveon Clowney on your team? Or none?
Jadeveon, none. I'm doing what's working. All right, I'm going to play and develop my young guys. I'm going to let them go out there, and I'm going to let them learn. It's worked for me really well last year. I don't think you go away from that. If I bring in a Justin Simmons, the last thing I want him to do is take snaps away from my rookie safety. So I want the young guys to play. I'll deal and go through the growing pains. I know that they'll make mistakes. I know that there'll be, things they got to learn. But I'd rather do that than bring in a 31-year-old safety.
And here's the last one for you, Mark. Tell me this. Who's this? Who's Kenneth Murray, Jack Sanborn? I know who Malik Hooker is. Kyer Elam. Who are these guys?
They are guys that have a bit to prove. Jack Sanborn came with our defensive coordinator from Chicago. Young guy that's looking for a place.
Matt Eberflus.
Matt Eberflus. Kenneth Murray, who was the captain of the Titans last year, their defensive captain, linebacker, had about, I think, 95 tackles,
The Titans?
And with the Titans, yeah.
Okay.
Elam, former first-round pick for Buffalo, and, hasn't quite lived up to what they expected him to. I see you laughing there, bro.
No, wait, I'm looking at Philly. He's just like this. I'm nauseated right now because I'm not, you look like you're constipated right now with this cowboy dog.
Here's where you look at this.
It sounds like a bunch of restaurant managers.
Okay. I hear you.
It sounds like.
I hear you. But if you look in comparison to what we've had in the past, you've got a lot more potential. Here's the thing that I like is every single one of these guys are guys that are on their first-year contract that are looking to get paid. And basically, most of them are first, second-round draft picks that haven't really lived up to expectations. What you have are a bunch of guys that are now saying, I'm going to be in Dallas, where I've got everybody watching me every week. You see all the games. This is my opportunity to get paid. And in contract years, for whatever reason, that's when you usually see the best out of players. Am I wrong?
Hey, Mark, I feel like I'm at a Holiday Inn listening to a guy give me a speech on how to sell homes. I mean,
okay. Again, so the Cowboys have no chance in hell, is what y'all are saying. We are just going to be the worst team in football. But when we come in to your house, week one, and we kick your teeth in because we're tired of all this bullshit, all this bravado. Where I've got literally Eagle fans out there saying Eagles are 1-0 right now. 1-0. It's not even a thought that the Cowboys have a chance. Don't let the Dallas Cowboys win, because I will be. I might even show up at your studio. I'll be wherever Xander is. I'll be there with Xander.
And then Mark will be disappearing during the playoffs because that's always happens to the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm gonna and you get the last because you're the champ here, Billy. I mean, the last 5 minutes you've looked very perturbed, confident. Okay, the waiters that are now the Dallas Cowboys
managers at Denny's,
the waiters that they have playing defense. I mean, with the schedule released tonight, how are you feeling about your potential repeating as champions in the National Football League, becoming the 10th team ever to do it?
I think we got a great chance. of course you have to stay healthy and all those things. But I look at the schedule and I know you're not going to win every game. That's not the way it goes. But every week in this schedule, I expect to win. And I think there's one break on the schedule nobody's talking about. The end of the schedule is Washington, Buffalo, Washington, right? That Buffalo game may be a meaningless game for both Buffalo or the Eagles, because that's the second to last game of the season. And most of the time teams have things kind of locked up. So I think them putting Buffalo late in the year like that is going to actually benefit the Eagles.
See, one thing that I will say, and when you're talking about the strength of schedule stuff, I think Buffalo doesn't really have a very tough schedule. So this is what I'm saying. You may be right when it comes to the NFC East, Philly. Okay, you may be right that it might not, but home field advantage may be determined still the last 2 weeks, because I think the Buccaneers have one of the easiest schedules in the league too. Right. I think the Bucs are going to win 12 ball games this year because they're playing a shitty schedule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, it could come down to that. That's
those
true.
Two guys.
But I could say the Eagles, I mean, they're going to play the Rams. They're going to play the Lions. So you take care of business with those two games at home. Because to me, I think those are the toughest two teams in the conference. That should give you the tiebreaker to have home field. I think home field is key.
Mark, last one. Just right now, on May 14th, you can change it. Nobody's going to hold your feet to the fire here.
Yeah,
give me a Cowboy kind of like prediction here. How you feeling? Where are you feeling right now on May 14th? Cowboys and Eagles, September 4th.
What am I feeling?
Feeling score-wise.
Oh shit, man! Come on. I'm going to stick with Micah Parsons. I'm going to stick with the 24-21.
24-21 Dallas.
Fuck it. It's not like I'm not going to get trashed on here anyway. I'm not going to go in there with my tail between my legs.
See, now he's right. You do set us up here. Now I know you're full of shit. All right, hang on here. You, Philly 500, how you feeling? Week
31-17, maybe 31-20 Eagles. I think the Eagles blow this thing open. I think Barkley's going to have a monster game, and I think that Dak does what Dak does. Garbage points, garbage yards, garbage touchdown passes.
He does average 261 yards a game versus the Cowboys.
Who, Barkley?
No, Dak.
Dak.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I don't put a lot of stock into what he did against the Eagles 3-4 years ago when he was playing a totally different team.
All right.
Plus, you got a new coach, right? You have a
Yes.
new coach.
Yep.
You have him coming off of injury. You're going to have rookie guys that have never played an NFL game in their career. You've got the banner going up. It's going to be like a playoff atmosphere. So I think it's an Eagle night, man. I feel good.
Philly, if this guy wins and that Cowboy team wins on week 1, you will never hear the end of Cowboy. Remember how they were after they beat Cleveland?
I know.
Watch.
No, not only that is, even if they win that game, and then let's say the Eagles beat Dallas again, go on to win another Super Bowl, Dallas does nothing the rest of the year, I'll still hear that game. That's all they'll talk about, that game. That's how they are.
Mark?
Yeah.
I tell you what, man, I'm looking forward to this game, man. I'll guarantee you 50 million people watch this game. It will be the highest rated football game. Hey, here's something else too. The Eagles have 6 right now, 6 primetime games, which means they're probably going to get 2 extra flexed.
No Christmas,
8.
No Thanksgiving.
I know. Good. I do love that. They do have Black Friday, but they don't have Turkey Day, and they don't have don't have, like you said.
I get to chill out on the holidays.
Guys, appreciate you guys were wonderful today. You guys were great.
Thank you.
Mark, there's more optimism.
Oh, you know what I tell you I like is the fact that you guys are becoming Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Hollywood. Let's see how you guys can. We're used to handling that in Dallas, but I see that Saquon is looking to be collaborating with Aiden Ross. that
Who
they're
knows
working
that?
on a podcast or something.
I don't even know who the
or
hell that is.
Oh, so they got. Oh, really? Barkley's got a podcast going.
Well, they're talking about
With
Aiden
who?
Ross. I don't know anything about him, but
Hey,
he's
did you
got
see-
about
did you
7
see
million
that Cooper
followers.
DeJean?
Where does he
You
work
see,
at then?
Cooper DeJean and Reed are going to put one called The Average
Yeah.
White Guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
So much for Micah Parsons' podcast being the only thing out here. Apparently, other guys
Philly. I mean,
are kind of growing too.
these guys they're doing everything un-Eagle and un-Philly like, aren't they?
Well, I mean, Rocky had to go through it with Mr. T, I guess.
Adrian!
To go through.
Adrian!
Or I had Tiger. I don't know what
Oh,
to
wait a
say.
minute. Are you calling the Cowboys in week 1 Spider Rico?
Yes. Yes.
Hey, guys. Thank you guys so much. Great stuff as
Thank
always.
you.
Make sure you check Philly 500 out. And also
Thank you.
Mark with his great work that he does covering the Cowboys. Absolutely great stuff. Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys
Thank you.
very much. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Oh, boy. That was a great one. Absolutely. You know what? I like the fact that Cowboys and Eagles are going to be completely relevant September 4th, man. That's good. That's must-see television. That's tuning in television. I'm all over that, man. That's good stuff, man. Shit. Hey, dude, and unfortunately, John Ritchie does again. Why are the Cowboys getting a premier game like the opener on the opening of the season? He's the WIP morning guy. You know why? Because the Dallas Cowboys are the most relevant team in sports in the world. Nobody wants to hear that. If the Cowboys suck, they cover them. If the Cowboys are great, they cover them. If the Cowboys are mediocre, they cover them. There's only one other team in American sports like that. It's the Yankees. You could throw the Lakers in there. Those 3 teams, Notre Dame maybe even. The rest of them are filler. Stills, are you saying that the Eagles? No, I'm telling you, the Eagles are a great team. But the Dallas Cowboys, how many times I had the man who started Fox on this network? Okay? He started Fox Sports. And he told you the Dallas Cowboys are the most transcendent team in American sports. Whether you want to hear that in Philly or not, I don't care. Okay? Sills, good afternoon. People are going to be playing the Madden game thinking they're going to shift the win. Laughing my ass off. All good, my friend. I appreciate you, man. Really great stuff, man. Absolutely. Micah Parsons, we got to hit on that, has set the gauntlet. Micah Parsons. All right. Guys, don't forget our great friends at Morgan & Morgan with over 1,000 attorneys from coast to coast. There for you and to make sure you and your family get the best protection when it comes to claims that insurance companies want to try to undercut you. It's not going to happen with Morgan & Morgan. They're going to protect you like families in Pennsylvania, Florida, California, all across this country. And the number one reason is because they win. Absolutely, the reason is because they win. If you're ever injured, please do me a favor. Check out our great friends at forthepeople.com/Big Sills or Pound Law 529. That's FORthepeople.com/Big Sills or Pound Law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sills sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sills, please hit the like button. By the way, we got a little announcement here, just so you guys know. And by the way, not going anywhere. Okay? 2 to 6 Eastern, Monday through Friday. No effect on anything. Big Sale starting on Monday the 19th. We will be doing a 2-hour show on the 50,000-watt blowtorch. Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 in Tampa, Florida. We'll be following Bubba the Love Sponge. So, it'll be the first time I'm back on radio Monday through Friday in 4 years. So, we'll be heard in Tampa, Jacksonville, Orlando. We'll be heard all through that corridor. So, that starts Monday. Nothing affects this thing. We build around it, as I told you. So, we got 2 gigs now. We're going to be doing this, obviously. Nothing's changing. Same guest, same people, all good. And we're just adding a 2-hour show in Tampa from 10 to noon, starting on Monday, following Bubba the Love Sponge. No, Sue, we're not going nowhere, man. Absolutely not. By the way, one thing I did find out in radio, because I did a show last week in Tampa. You know what they said? Let me tell you what they did today. So they called me up, the owner of the company, Genesis Communications. And this is what he said. I heard you on Sunday. How did we not have that on a Monday through Friday? You're the greatest sports talk host in the history of Tampa Bay morning sports. And I said, well, that's a pat on the back kind of thing because I've been off the air for 4 years. And I was like, yeah, okay. So at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, we have had the highest ratings in the history of that city. So we did 10 shares. Thank you, Twiz. Twiz, couldn't have done it without you. Twiz, that's why we're not going nowhere. I couldn't have done it without you. And Reyes, and Sue, and Ronald, and Jalen, and all of you. I couldn't have done it. if I didn't have this opportunity, by the way, that's going to lead to even bigger. And this here is leading to bigger. Talking in Philadelphia. I love this guy, and I love Mark. Dude, when 500 said, I'm naming all those Cowboy guys on defense, and he said, Ronald, thank you. And he said, it sounded like a bunch. Hey, that was hilarious. Great stuff. Thanks so much for having me on. You see, Mark has no confidence in his team. Congrats on being back on the air. 500, I will have you clearly on that radio station. You can bet your ass you're going to be a guest with me. Great stuff, man. And like I said, one thing I've learned about doing radio and doing this, I get way more latitude to do an actual show. I had to do like 3 stop sets. And can you imagine? Because now I go for like an hour and a half where I don't take a break. I had to take a break every 12 minutes. And I'm like, what? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Billy, thank you, bro. Really awesome. Congrats, Sills. You deserve the best. Well, Blaine, I'll tell you one thing. Between my aunt, my wife, and my daughter, a lot of hardship I bring on them when it comes to how I conduct myself sometimes, and I've got to be better. Okay? So I'm absolutely going to be better. Be smarter about everything. Because I'm not getting any younger. And I got one more shot at the brass ring. A lot of sacrifice has gone in to get me here. So, and we appreciate all of you. I can't thank you enough. All of you. You bring in 500 on? Oh, absolutely. I'm going to put 500 on. You kidding me? That guy on the radio? Oh, no. He's a lifetime friend now. Absolutely. And some of you, I would hope some of you would call, because I'm going to tell you this. Buccaneer fans are talking trash on you guys. They are. They want a piece of you. And now they got you week 4. God, is that going to blow up? This and the radio show in Tampa. We may have to do a simulcast where I do the show and I just start from 10 on. I mean, right? We just may have to keep, okay? Absolutely. So we're looking forward to that. And a lot of sacrifice, like I said, has gone into, especially from my aunt, who I would never be here with if it wasn't for her. Okay? Got to give us the number. I will. I'll do all that. Senor, by the way, Senor, we go back and forth. Okay? We go back and forth. But, bro, I love every one of you. Absolutely. Here's 500. Oh, my God. Can you imagine 500 going after Buck fans? This is going to be great. I'll let all those people in Tampa know that they have too much, son. That's the brain. Eagles are taking them out. That's great stuff. Okay. Takeem, I think I talked to you when I had to have the Crow show, right? Oh, man. You guys are great. Thank you, Senor, for everything. Big Sills, please tell him again. Tell me again what you're doing. All right, Chris, I'm going on. Let me read it for you. This was the press release that was sent to everyone. That will be published tomorrow. So here's the press release. Big Sills, Dan Sileo, is back on the radio airwaves in Tampa, Florida, Monday through Friday on a 50,000-watt WBA 820, the Big 8, from 8 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. Sileo, who was on WDAE in Tampa for 14 years, had the highest-rated morning sports show in Tampa history. The show starts Monday, 5/19. Sileo currently works for JAKIB Sports, based in Philadelphia, doing a show from 2 to 6 Eastern Time. That's the press release. So, I love the debating sales. I'm glad. Hey, absolutely, Brandon. Thank you, Philly. Thank you, dude. Yeah, we got exiled. Okay. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm better now. I'm better because of you guys. I'll tell you one thing you guys have taught me compared to what I was doing before in radio. I would put all my look what I do every day. So you know. I know some of you guys think I do about a seat of my pants. So I write out a show. Just cliff notes for me. Take you behind the scenes a little bit. I write all this down every day. I don't have a script. It's just things I write down. I write down things you guys want to hear or hear me say. Sitting around talking about the Knicks and Celtics or about the Phillies. Do the radio station have an app? They do. I will give you all the information, I promise. Sills, I'm like you. I have concerns for 4 spots. Blaine, give me the 4 spots. Give me the 4 spots. Did you have a concern? How about this? I'm going to add one. Okay? I'm going to add one. How many people are concerned about Jalen Hurts? How many people are concerned about Hurts heading into 25? And I'll tell you where I'm going with it. Awesome. And congratulations. Looking forward to 2 opportunities a day to roast Big Sills. That I love. That I love. I do. Here's what I'm talking about with Hurts. Is this a concern? Do you want the Eagles? Okay, Park says none. Jalen's work ethic, second to none. Okay? Let me ask you this. So let's take a look at what Jalen Hurts has done, and I'll ask you if you think this is smart business. Let's take a look at who Jalen Hurts is. Jalen Hurts. Okay. Here we go. Oh, this is cool. Thank you so much. Congrats, Big Sills. Happy for you. Better not give up on. Never. That's not happening. One of my highlights of the year was being on your show for only 5 minutes. You have taught me a lot, not only about football, but life. Devin, that's a kind compliment. Thank you. Means a lot. I'm concerned you're going to call him elite, says Twiz. Okay. Do you have any concerns about Jalen Hurts heading into 2000? Does anybody have any concerns about Jalen Hurts heading into 2025? None, right? Okay. So, in 2023, Jalen Hurts threw the ball more than any time in his 5 years in the pros. 538 times. He had his second worst completion percentage at 65.4 and his most turnovers at 15 when they asked him to throw the ball more. Okay? So my question to you will be, How much more do you want him to improve the offense this year by taking the ball out of Barkley's hands? Let's take a look at this. Jalen threw the ball 530 times, 538 times, divided by 17. He threw the ball 32 times a game. Last year, Jalen Hurts threw the ball. It's funny. Philly didn't want to answer it that way. Divided by 15, he threw the ball 23 times. 11 attempt difference. In those 11 attempts, he had 15 turnovers. He basically almost had an interception a game. And when he had the ball in his hand, actually in 23, how many fumbles did he have that season? See what that stat is. Again, I'm trying to make a point. It's not a rip. I'm asking you, what are you asking him to do this year? Let's see fumbles. Fumbles. So he's had 45 fumbles in 77 games. Jalen Hurts has had. He had 9. So pretty much in 2023, he had 24 turnovers in 17 ball games. How much are you asking of him this year? What are you looking at with Jalen Hurts this year? Because if he has the ball more in his hand, he turns the ball more over. What are you asking? What are you asking him to do this year? Stay the same? Play the same? By the way, my problem is, what are you going to expect from Jalen Hurts in 2025? Not a rip. I'm asking him, what are you expecting from him? The same type of season? Huh. That's such a good take. Instead of taking the 45 sacks, throw the ball away more? Can I tell you what a sack is to me? That's a selfish play. Throw the ball away. That's my problem with Shedeur Sanders. Hey, do you guys not agree? In 2022, I thought Jalen threw the ball away more. He'd rather just live another play. For some reason, he was worried about completion percentage or interceptions. I get that. I get it. Sacks are a problem too. They take you out of field position. You remember that Detroit game, the opener? How many times did he run up the sidelines? And he would just do this if it was a loss of yards. Throw it out of bounds. I'm like, that shit's brilliant. He stopped doing that. Like, he hasn't looked, do we agree? He has not looked as good as a starting quarterback on a week-to-week basis since 2022. Is that fair? Guess what, folks? Jalen Hurts hasn't evolved. The offense around him did. With Saquon Barkley, that's not evolving. That's not evolving as a quarterback. His development as a progression reader is getting better, but it's still a work in progress. His setting of the protections, the first time in 5 years. By the way, I'm not ripping him. He's had marvelous success. I'm asking you, what are your expectations of him this year? What are you expecting out of him? Again, guys, not a rip. Dude, the guy's won a shitload of ball games. But with that schedule that you have, you're going to need more than Saquon Barkley on a week-to-week basis. Dude, I'm asking you about your football team wins. All he does is win. Once again, the Eagles would win with or without him. The question would be, could they win that game with or without him? That I don't know. They won with a backup quarterback who stunk in his career everywhere else but Philly. Okay? I'm asking a question. What are you expecting him to do this year? Last year, he had 2903, 18 touchdowns, and he only threw the football 360 times. And I'm not indicting that. You can't indict anything that leads to a win and leads to a Super Bowl. Okay? 361. What are you expecting out of him this coming season? You can't just throw the ball out of bounds in the pocket. That would be called intentional grounding. It's not what I'm saying. If you run to the sidelines and there's a guy standing next to you, you can throw the ball out of bounds. You're out of the pocket. What are you talking about? When you roll and you're out of the pocket and you like have a guy near you and flip it out of bounds, the guy's running up the sidelines and you flip it out of bounds, that's not intentional grounding. What are your expectations of Jalen this year? What do you think? By the way, I'm not looking for gigantic numbers. I'm not looking for this guy to be in the conversation with Joe Burrow. What are we looking for? I don't even think you guys know. Because you know why? You never want to take away from what is the engine of the team. And that's the running game. And that includes Hurts. Okay? No. I'm asking, you're not going to win the Super Bowl the same way because of your defense. You not have the same defense. No matter what you guys think. No matter what you're praying for and hoping for. Like hoping, like you put your tooth under the pillow and the tooth fairy is going to give you $5. That's not going to happen. Okay? I'm just curious what you're expecting of him. Hey, it's easy to say this. Do you think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to give Saquon Barkley north of 350 carries again this year? How many did he have a year ago? I don't know. He had a bunch a year ago, right? Okay? What are you looking for? Get this. Why are you here? Thanks for the algorithm? Get lost, punk. What are you looking for? Expect her. That's not an answer. What are you looking and how he's going to play? What are you looking for? You have to run Barkley until those wheels fall off. Okay. So run Barkley 350 times again this year, which means Hurts will be limited again in the passing game. Is that right? Okay, so you're looking at another football season where he's going to hang around 3,200 yards. Somewhere in there. And 20 touchdowns. Well, let's take a look at something here. I want to show you something. Here's who your guy is that's resulted in this. And I think it really speaks to what you guys expect. How many people think Jalen's going to get better? I don't. I think this is who he is. Here's who he is. In 5 years of football, with a 17-game average, Jalen throws the ball for 32-38, 19 touchdowns, 9 picks, has a 93.5 quarterback rating, and he's 46-20. That's who he is. He's never going to be better than that. He's just not. The team is built to run the football. He's going to run the ball too, by the way. And get this, add in his running, and I'm going to. Let's add his running in. Jalen averages about 690, that's a lot, 692 yards rushing. And he averages about 12 touchdowns. And he pops in at 4.6 a carry, which is insane great. And he throws the ball for 3,200 yards. 32. This is an average. 38 and 19. So that's 31 touchdowns that he averages. 10, 13, and about 4,000 total yards and 31 touchdowns. Isn't that where you want him to hang around? Because if you ask him to do what he did in 23, turnovers are going to return. Because that's not what he does. Jalen Hurts is who he is. Will he get smarter? Yes. Will he get better as a passer? Maybe a little. Patrick Mahomes hasn't gotten better. He's gotten smarter. Okay? He's gotten better. And for the record, one more time, Jalen Hurts will go as far as the roster continues to go around him and stay around him, which means Howie. The greatest asset that Jalen Hurts has, what do you guys think the greatest assets have been in Jalen Hurts' career? Just as long as you don't leave. Bro, we're not going anywhere. No worries. What do you think the two most important people have been behind Jalen Hurts? Two most important people behind him, non-family related. Nick Saban and Howie Roseman. Nick Saban was the greatest recruiter in the history of college football. Lincoln Riley, pretty good one himself. Not quite Nick. And Howie. Jalen Hurts has never in his entire time, I don't know anything about him in high school, but I can't remember when Jalen Hurts has never played on a loaded team. Not a rip. Which means he's been in good situations his entire career. Trevor Lawrence goes from a shitty, it's not a negative. That's not a negative. That's being around great people. Surrounding yourself with great people is a key to success. Surround yourself with shitty people, you're not going anywhere. Hurts' decision-making is what makes him elite, says Jason. I do think that too. I think he sees the game way better than Lamar. I think that's a fair comment. I absolutely do. And by the way, you know, there's a ton of similarities between Jalen and Aikman. Would you not agree? You know, the one thing, and it was a great take by Xander. Xander said this. He goes, Well, shit, so Jalen Hurts has all these great players around him, but he's winning with them. Aikman, too. I've seen so many great football players. Hey, look. Joe Burrow's got great football players around him. You could make the argument Joe Burrow has had maybe even as comparable or better players around him since he's been in the league. I mean, Jamar Chase is nothing to shit at. T. Higgins is an awful good number 2. And when they had Joe Mixon, they were exceptional too. Okay? Hurts is in a better in a better environment because of Howie, like Nick. Just like Nick Saban and just like Howie Roseman. Whether Jalen Hurts is the quarterback or not, they're going to win. Like Alabama didn't suffer when Hurts was benched. It didn't suffer. So Hurts is Aikman 2.0. There's nothing wrong. No, there's nothing wrong with that. Ironic, they both went to college. They both transferred from Oklahoma connection. That's right. We broke Aikman's leg in the Miami game, and he transferred to UCLA, and he transferred from Bama to OU. Yeah, and I'm a huge Switzer fan. We've had Coach Switzer on. I was almost going to be an Oklahoma Sooner. I had signed a scholarship to go play there, and Jimmy talked me out of it, and I went to Miami. But I was going to be a Sooner, and I was going to play in Oklahoma. Here's a Banyes. Seals, what I'm expecting from Hurts is progression reading and time management throughout the whole entire season. I'll tell you, what I'm looking for him to do is just make 5 passes a game. Third down, keep it short. If I'm Kevin Patullo, how I want to keep Hurts continuing to get better, keep him in 3rd and short. That defense, do you understand that I think that defense is the question mark to the success of the offense this year? Last year, your defense never put that offense in bad position or field position. I don't think that's going to be the same case this year, especially early on. It may evolve like it did a year ago. But to sit there and go like this 2 years in a row, look at this guy. This guy thinks guy with 4 national titles sucks. Okay. Nice take, kid. Sills and the Boz would have been a hell of a combo. Oh, man. I had a great back and forth with Brian when we were in college. I call him the most overrated player in the history of college football, and he'd never make our team. Hey, back then, you could say that shit before a game. I was saying that before a game. Oh, we're going to kill this team. They're not going to. And we did kill them. And I told him, I said, the guy couldn't make our ball club. He couldn't make our ball. He wouldn't play on my ball team. And Bosworth got so mad at me. Who's this scrub? Da-da-da. And I showed you the headlines. Sileo backs his mouth up. OU was wondering who Sileo was because everybody had been focusing on Jerome. And when I got a hold of them, I did the same damage Jerome did in that game. And so after the game, they were all like, who's this guy? And that kind of was what made me, was after that game, was that in that football game, everyone looked up and went, the guy's really great. And Coach Switzer said it too. So, yeah, it was a coming out party for me, was that OU game. Sills, yes, Hurts has played on really good stacked teams, but that's because his skill set gets him on those teams. Well, what got him benched then in Alabama, Bob? Hurts was not the caboose in Bama or OU. His situational awareness will improve. Why did he get benched? Because there were accuracy issues. Tua is more accurate. Tua is a more accurate passer. I mean, the guy did throw for 4,500 yards. I think he led the NFL in passing yards one year, Tua. Tua is a better passer. That don't mean he's a better quarterback. than Jalen Hurts. That does not mean that. Okay? This has nothing to do with anything. Anytime somebody brings this up, shows you how stupid that is. That has nothing to do with how good a quarterback is or not. One game doesn't determine that. That does not determine that, how good a quarterback you are. According to M. Reyes, Trent Dilfer's a better quarterback than Dan Marino because he won one. That's preposterous. Or that Tanner McKee is a better quarterback. No, we'll do a starter. Or that Nick Foles is a better quarterback than Warren Moon. It's absolutely ridiculous for anybody to think that. Or that Jim Plunkett, who won 2 Super Bowls, is better than Dan Marino. It's totally a moot. It's right. When you're talking about one's career, winning a Super Bowl doesn't determine it. You're trying to tell me you think Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Jim Kelly? Because he won one? I mean, really? It's a stupid comment. When people are putting the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the league together, they're not talking about who's won more Super Bowls. They're talking about who do you think is the greatest player to ever play that position? Just so happens it's the 2 winningest quarterbacks. It's Brady and it's Montana. Because when you watched them play, you couldn't defend them. Third would be Elway. He's 2-3 in Super Bowls. 4, probably Marino. 5, Manning. Favre's in that conversation. Shit, Aikman's probably down 13-14 before I pick him. I mean, you won a Super Bowl doesn't make you the greatest player in the position or one of them. I know, guys, Joe Flacco won the Super Bowl. You think he's better than Dan Marino? It's ridiculous. It's really not a conversation. The Super Bowl did not solidify him. Hurts is far from a Hall of Famer. He's building it. And like Dander said, he's far from done. All right. Don't forget, guys, our good friends at Morgan & Morgan. Over 1,000 attorneys from coast to coast. Folks, these guys battle for Americans and American families each and every single time and every single day. It's a family-run business by the Morgans. Ultima, the mom, wife to John Morgan, has been there for 30-some-odd years. There with John, building this great firm up to being America's #1 injury law firm. They're the #1 injury law firm because they win. Make sure if you're ever injured, please check out my friends at forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's FOR, thepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Funny stuff, man. Funny stuff on how you guys, anytime somebody said, hey, see this guy here? Stat merchant. Use my eyes? Okay, he's a less than average passer. Your own team thought that. Oh, wait, I forgot. You guys aren't saying that he could throw the ball when he had to. You guys are not saying that. He could do it when they just didn't want him to because they had Barkley. He's the only quarterback in pro football history that has that excuse. I'm not playing consistent each and every single week, all but 1 year of his career. Is that right? Okay. Hey, that's how you see that. Because none of you are saying that, according to Philly 500. None of you are saying that. He has not had consecutive games where he carried a football team since 22 during the regular season. But they can do it when they need to. Okay. All right. Hey. Oh, boy, the schedule released tonight. We'll take a look at that bad puppy tomorrow. Man, look at that start of the season. Holy, but on to me. You got the Cowboys, you got the Chiefs, you got the Rams, and you got the Bucks. I can't wait for tomorrow. By the way, we'll try to get Phil Simms on tomorrow and get his thoughts too. But he's supposed to come on today, but I wanted to hold him up. Guys, thank you so much. 2 to 6 tomorrow, and we shall see you on the flip side.